swept in a year and a half, they certainly don't want to start here. That's a summary of what's happened in the first inning. It's up to Zambrano to avoid arm cramps that shelved them last time out and do something to stop these Brewers because they are hot.
Carlos Zambrano's not been on a liquid diet, but he has been drinking a whole lot of water, Steve. He did cramp up badly last time out. Do you expect any problems in this start after the cramps?
Well, I don't think it's anything serious, and I don't think Zambrano thinks it's serious. It's just that he was dehydrated. He knows the reason why. They've talked to him about it. I don't think it'll be repeated. And he went out and threw the ball well after the first set of arm cramps. There you look at the numbers. Davis is not going to wow you. He gets the ball over the plate. He cuts the ball into the right-handers. So look for some balls going out of the park in left field for the Cubs tonight.
When the Cubs hit home runs, they're usually pretty successful offensively. They have not been so far at Miller Park, a trend we hope stops tonight. Stay tuned, friends. Game 3 of the set from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Coming up, Carlos Zambrano, the Cub All-Star starter, will try to win against Doug Davis when we return.
Fox Sportsnet's coverage of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by your local area Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Geico Direct, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Comcast, proud to be Chicagoland's cable company. Mike's Hard Lemonade, hardly the usual. Make it a Mike's. Chevy, test drive a new Chevy car or truck today at your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Aflac, ask about it at work. Toyota, get the feeling. And by Southwest Airlines, over 2,800 nonstop daily flights to 60 destinations all across the country.
You know, if you win 100, you got a pretty good chance of going to the playoffs. You got a pretty good chance of having an outstanding team. You know, Chevy and I have a lot in common. We accept nothing short of excellence.
The word is out. Now current GM owners and lessees get $4,000 loyalty cash on select 2004 Chevy Silverado models.
You know, I drive a Chevy, and I hope you'll choose Chevy too.
You know, some people don't think what we do is a sport. That's because you can't get hurt doing it. Otherwise, you have that insurance. What insurance? What? Come again? The one that pays you cash. If you're hurt and can't work.
Aflac, ask about it at work.
Hey fans, ever dreamed of being a sportscaster? Presenting the Sam Adams Sportscaster for a Day contest. Fox Sports Net and Sam Adams are teaming up to send one lucky winner to serve as a sportscaster during the Northsiders September trip to Florida. To find out how to enter and where you'll need to go to try out, log on to fsnchicago.com or head to samadams.com and click on Chicago Baseball Broadcaster Tryouts. You could be a sportscaster for a day. Brought to you by Fox Sports Net and Sam Adams. Always a good decision.
Gumbo? Oh, yeah. Here's how y'all go. Head down by the riverside. You'll see a giant bear eating a man. You go bumpity, bumpity, see old dead stinking fish. Gonna be a dog there, be foaming at the mouth. There y'all are.
Sometimes the road to adventure is paved. The 245 horsepower all-wheel drive Nissan Murano.
Forgot to warn about that hot sauce.
Well, Steve, a little surprised the roof is open tonight in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A cool, chilly, misty night. But the Cubs don't care about the weather. They just need to find a way to win a ball game. After dominating the Brewers in this ballpark last year, Milwaukee has squeaked by with 2 victories in the first 2 matchups this year. And tonight, Carlos Zambrano tries to enter the ranks of double-digit winners for the Cubs.
I think, Chip, they've had the wrong game plan against Milwaukee. What they've decided to do is let the Brewers score early, lull them into a false sense of security, and then come back. Well, tonight, the Cubs are going to try to break on top and see if they can pull away from the Brewers early. And they've got the right man in the mound because Doug Davis is not overpowering. He's not going to strike out a lot of them. And I'm looking for Moises Alou to have a big night tonight.
Cubs need the rope-a-dope against this Milwaukee ball club here tonight. As we enter game 3 of the series, Milwaukee takes the field behind left-hander Doug Davis. And the Cubs for Dusty Baker will line up this way. Mark Grudzielanek will lead off at second base. Corey Patterson moves into the number 2 spot with the left-hander on the mound. He'll be followed by Sammy Sosa. Moises Alou hitting in front of Derek Lee. Michael Barrett will hit 6th. Ramon Martinez 7th. The rookie Brendan Harris picked up his first major league hit and RBI last night, bats 8th. And Carlos Zambrano will pitch and hit 9th.
And there's a look at Doug Davis. He's been a surprise at 8-6. His ERA in the mid-3s. Mike Maddox, the pitching coach of this Brewer team, completely reworked his mechanics. You can see the cutter, which is a fastball. He tries to get inside on the right-handers. His velocity is just average. He throws a splitter. That's a new addition to his repertoire, as well as hiding the ball as well as he can possibly hide it. And there's a look at Mike Maddox, the brother of Greg Maddox. And he's done a real nice job with his pitching staff.
You're right about that. Davis with 8 wins. Santos 8 wins. You know about Ben Sheets. He won his 8th in the series opener. His career high is 11. And maybe the most pleasing surprise has been the emergence of Dan Kolb in the bullpen as one of the most dependable closers in not only the National League but all of baseball. So some of the pieces in place for this Milwaukee ball club under Ned Yost.
The Brewers signed Davis as a minor league free agent back on July 14th of last year. So they got a left-hander who's won 8 games the first half of the season and got him basically for nothing. He started his career with Texas, then went to Toronto, and then Milwaukee salvaged him last year.
So Mark Grudzielanek leads things off, and Davis pumps over a quick strike. Third major league team for the veteran left-hander who's pitched with Texas, Toronto, and Milwaukee. Lifetime Davis 1-3 against the Cubs, but threw a very good game against us last August 31st. He pitched 8 innings and 1/3 of very good baseball for the Brewers.
He's done a nice job of keeping the ball in the park. He's given up just 8 home runs in 109 innings.
1-1 count to Grudzielanek, and that's out of play, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cubs have not been swept in either a 3-game or 4-game series since September of 2002. And tonight we enter play 5 games behind the Cardinals. They're hosting Cincinnati at Busch Stadium tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes to Mark Grudzielanek, 0 for 4 in the series. Davis in his last start was beaten by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Gave up a grand slam in that ball game, but have been fighting off the early stages of a flu bug that right now is going through the Brewer clubhouse.
Last time out was one of the few bad starts for Davis. Other than that, he's been pretty good.
3-2 count. And back out of play. We hope our producer, Bob Albrecht, is feeling better tonight. The flu bug is going through him tonight as well. Three-2. Called third strike right down the middle. 1 up, 1 down. Cub leadoff man has struck out to open each of the 3 games at Miller Park.
Mark Grudzielanek thought this one was out of the zone. Phil Cuzzy had other ideas. It had the whole plate. I think Mark thought it was low. And if that's going to be the bottom end of the strike zone, the Cubs are going to have to beware of that one. Certainly Sammy and Moises like the ball down there.
That'll bring up Corey Patterson. Corey 1 for 8 in the series so far. And hitting .276. The bunt try. Past the mound. Overbay flips to first. Not in time. Don't know if Ginter had his foot on the bag. A bunt hit for Patterson with 1 man out.
Once this gets by Davis, it's real tough to throw out Corey Patterson at first base. And that's the object of a drag bunt. Just drag it by the pitcher. Good effort by Patterson, who's gotten much better at that. Overbay made a good effort, but they didn't beat Corey to the bag.
So that'll bring up Sammy Sosa. Runner at first, one out for Sosa, who has been slumping since coming off the disabled list. Sammy's batting average just .220 in 17 games since coming back from the big sneeze in San Diego. 1 ball, no strikes.
Sosa's always hit well against these Brewers, and he particularly likes to face them up here in Milwaukee. They play him straight away and very deep, and Ginter's playing him up the middle at second.
39 lifetime home runs for Sosa. That's most to one player by this Milwaukee franchise.
Well, pretty much what they're saying with a defense like this in the infield is they're going to give Sammy the base hit to right field if he goes that way. They want to try to take away his power, but ahead 2-0, that's where you want to be.
Threw it past him. 2 balls and a strike.
Counsell has been very dependable at shortstop, although he doesn't have an overpowering arm. Helms does have an overpowering arm at third, although he's been a little inconsistent with that arm.
Two and two.
Well, Davis is very quick to home plate, and even though Moeller doesn't throw all that well, with Davis seemingly at 1-1 or below to home, it's very difficult to run against this combination.
Davis trying to become the first Brewer left-handed pitcher with 9 wins before the All-Star break since Teddy Higuera did it back when the Brewers were still an American League franchise. He's 8-6, and he strikes out Sammy Sosa on 3 pitches after falling behind 2-0.
Sammy's got that strike zone that's now nose to toes, and swinging at everything, you're going to have a hard time. That's a high fastball. It's not near as fast as some of the other guys that the Cubs will face, but up and out of the zone it looks a whole lot faster, as Sammy knows he made contact with the baseball. Wants to see if it stayed in the glove.
It did for Moeller, and that's a big second out. It'll bring up Moises Alou. Alou 4 for 12 lifetime against Davis. You said earlier you think Moises should have this guy figured out pretty effectively tonight.
Well, I think he's going to do pretty well against him, and Helms is playing Moises as the dead pull hitter that he is. He is right on the line and deep at third.
One ball, 1 strike. We've made the point a couple of times. These are not the Brewers of 4, 5, 6 years ago. This is a gritty, scrappy, much deeper bunch than we've seen in seasons past. And they've given a lot of teams a lot of trouble. They're 2-0 against the Cubs. They're 5-2 against the Cardinals, and they're going to have a big say as to who wins this Central Division race this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Alou.
They've had 11 straight losing seasons. Consequently, when you do that, you're going to get a lot of high draft choices. And they've made the most of theirs because this organization, by anyone's account, is probably 1, 2, or 3 as far as depth in the system. Now, they've got a lot of youngsters. They're probably a year to 2 away. And right now, they're playing real good up here.
1-2 count. Missed the inside corner, and it's even at 2-2.
One of the ways that Mike Maddox tried to rework Davis was he said you cut so many fastballs into right-handers, you got to find some way to use your pitches away. He's doing a little more of that lately.
Little chopper to the left side. Helms, all or nothing play, and he makes it. A bunt single by Patterson. That's it for the Cubs in the first. Carlos Zambrano to the mound for the Cubs. We're scoreless.
8 out of 9 Toyota cars get over 30 miles per gallon. So what does that mean to you?
Road trip. Road trip.
From Indiana to California.
I'm going to Mount Rushmore.
Portland. I love Portland.
Austin, Texas.
Santa Fe.
I drive to my mother-in-law.
With so many fuel-efficient cars, you can drive anywhere in a Toyota. So where are you going?
Sheboygan.
Sheboygan?
Murder's a new trick for a robot.
You're appearing emotional.
Hell, I don't want my toaster or my vacuum appearing emotional.
A robot cannot harm a human being.
Yeah, I've seen your commercials. There's no way my luck is that bad.
You are experiencing a car accident.
The hell I am! You gotta go!
Will Smith. I, Robot. Rated PG-13.
This summer, the Fast Lane is under new ownership. Supercharged Grand Prix Comp G, V8 GXP, and 350 horsepower GTO. Together for the first time in the most thrilling performance of the season. Pontiac Summer Drive, the performance of the year, the ride of a lifetime. Now playing at Pontiac dealers everywhere.
The best damn sports show, period. Tonight on Fox Sports Net.
No score after a half inning. Let's check out Ned Yost's Milwaukee Brewer lineup. The Brewers 5 games over 500. 7 out of first, only 2 games behind the Cubs in the Central. Pasednik, Counsell, and Jenkins the first 3. Lyle Overbay and Ben Grieve complete 5 straight left-handers atop the order. Then it's Keith Ginter, Wes Helms, Chad Moeller back behind the plate hitting 8th, and Doug Davis will pitch and hit 9th.
Carlos Zambrano on for the 17th start. He has a complete game this year. He's looking for win number 10. And one of the keys to beating this Brewer team is to keep Pasednik off base. He is their running attack. If he gets on, he will try to steal.
And Carlos misses downstairs with a ball. You might remember last time out against the White Sox, Zambrano was felled by right forearm cramps. We'll keep an eye on that tonight. He knew he had to continually hydrate himself over the last 5 days in preparation for this start. Neither he nor the Cubs figure to have any problems on a cool evening tonight in Milwaukee.
Well, meanwhile, he's fallen behind 3-0 to their base running attack. Pasednik is 33 out of 37 in stolen bases.
Man that was the runner-up for the Rookie of the Year award in the National League last season takes a called second strike. Full count to Scott Pasednik. The Brewers have scored in the first inning in the first 2 games, and they've made those runs stand up. But Zambrano blows away the leadoff man for out number 1.
Good comeback by Carlos, who threw 3 straight strikes. The last one by far the best fastball. He lights him up on the outside corner. Good pitch.
And I've got to think too, Steve, everything's been down for Carlos for the most part against Pasednik. That's got to be a key for him early. As Counsell hits, swung right through that. 0-1.
Carlos can get it up there in the high 90s when he wants to. He's at his best, probably pitching at the 92 to 94 mile-an-hour range. And he's just had a wonderful year.
Hit towards short. Ramon to his left, and Counsell a quick second out.
Let's take a look at the Cubs Corona defense and how they'll line up behind Zambrano. It's Alou, Patterson, and Sosa left to right, with Harris, Martinez, Grzelcyk, and Lee. Michael Barrett behind the plate, and Carlos Zambrano on the hill.
Here's Jeff Jenkins, 1 for 7 in the series. And he takes a knee high strike. 0-1 your count as we welcome our affiliate Insight Communications and their viewers in Ladd, Illinois, to our series wrap up with the Brewers. Fisted, shallow left. Might be trouble. Martinez, did he make the grab? What a play! A reverse basket catch for Ramon in shallow left. That'll retire Jeff Jenkins, and that's a web gem tonight at Miller Park. No score after 1.
Cubs Baseball is brought to you in part by Midas. For mechanics known for their work and their word, trust the Midas touch. Corona Extra, miles away from the ordinary. Ford, visit your local Ford store. And by SBC, going beyond the call.
It was her older sister's bike, but I made sure for her it ran like new. Now it's her first car, and although it's not brand new, I know the same attention went into making it feel like it was.
All quality check certified pre-owned Fords come with a 115-point inspection completed by Ford-trained technicians. Ford quality certified, the only way to buy a pre-owned vehicle, and only at your local Ford store.
So just like that, she's gone from 2 wheels to 4.
Flat. Sometimes small businesses hate the word flat, as in sales are flat. Other times, they love it, as in one flat rate for all your calls, and savings that are flat out shocking. That's SBC Business Unlimited, with a low flat rate that just got lower. $48.95 for unlimited local, toll, and nationwide long distance for your first line. Seeing small business differently. SBC.
Hey, Cubs fans, looking for a new way to get to Wrigley Field? Try right.
What a catch by Ramon Martinez to end the Brewers' first. Finally, Stoney, the Cubs able to keep the Brew Crew off the first inning scoreboard.
The secret for Zambrano is to continue to throw strikes because he's got real good stuff tonight.
Derek Lee leads off the Cubs second and takes a called strike over the outside corner. Cubs will have an off day tomorrow down in St. Louis, then a big weekend series with the Redbirds before the All-Star break.
Cubs would like to take advantage of the lack of speed of Ben Grieve in right field. He doesn't throw like a right fielder, and they've only been able to take advantage of it a couple of times in this series. But Grieve continues to have good at-bats.
Yes, he's been on base a lot with the hit and with the base on balls. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Derek Lee. He's looking for his first base hit of the series. Chopper towards short, deep in the hole. Counsell got him by a quarter step.
Well, Craig Counsell makes up for lack of great arm strength by knowing where to play and getting rid of the ball quickly. He's had a real dependable year at shortstop, and this was one of the guys that came over from the Diamondbacks. He plants quickly, gets it over there just in time. In fact, it was an all-former Diamondback play. Counsell to Overbay. And it was that trade for Richie Sexson that's helped make this team a whole lot better.
Here's Michael Barrett, the Cub catcher, 2 for 8. And he takes a called strike. Of course, we'll be back at home right after the All-Star break for you all at Wrigley Field. 4 with the Brewers, 2 with the Cardinals, 2 with the Cincinnati Reds. And on July 15th, the Cubs will host a salute to classic rock with Journey. Compliments of Exelon. Members of Journey will appear at the game performing the national anthem and the 7th inning stretch. Rock and roll memorabilia will be given away throughout the game as the Cubs take on these Brewers at 7:05 p.m. That you didn't know, but Neil Schon, the lead guitarist for Journey, terrific musician, toured with Carlos Santana as his lead guitarist at the age of 16. What a life he led. High fly ball deep toward left. Jenkins nearing the line, and in the corner makes the play for out number 2.
See the guy that pitches for the Twins?
Different guy. That's Johan Santana.
And it was one of those guys. You know, music is my life.
And your middle name. Here's Martinez, bases empty with 2 out. Ramon hitting safely in 15 of his last 20 ball games.
Boy, and how often do you see it? The guy who makes that great play to end the first inning hits 3rd in the next inning.
It's almost
Kavkayas. We've got it queued up and ready to go if he takes a pitch. Now, how about that for cooperation? What a play by Ramon. Brendan Harris making a good effort, can't get to it. And Ramon is able to run it down.
Do you think that had anything to do with Ronnie's conversation with the rookie third baseman? 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, before the game last night, Ronnie did have a conversation with him. You know what he did for the careers of Gary Scott and Kevin Ory. Can't help but hopefully do the same with Brendan Harris.
And let's not forget Mark Bellhorn. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Oh, really? Well, the Horn is starting now for a team that's as solidly in second place. Those Boston Red Sox.
And Harris, by the way, the 100th different Cub to play third base since Ron Santo became a White Sox second baseman. Grounded foul out of play, 2-2.
But he did pick up not only his first major league hit, but his first major league RBI last night. Ronnie thinks he's going to be able to play. And of course, Ronnie should know a little something about third base. He feels eventually, though, that Harris is probably going to be better served in the big leagues as a second baseman. And Ronnie made that transition, you know, one of the all-time great White Sox second basemen.
Fourth or fifth only to whom? 3 balls, 2 strikes.
George Orta and a host of others.
Payoff pitch to Ramon. Line sharply towards second. Ginter will play it on the short hop. And it's 3 up, 3 down for the Cubs in the second. No score here at a sold-out Miller Park in Milwaukee.
Got an old buddy waiting for a visit in Washington? With Southwest Airlines' 8 daily nonstop flights from Chicago Midway to BWI Airport, flying Southwest is your best route to the capital.
You are now free to move about the country.
When it starts showing up in video games, don't let the needle-pushing T5 Turbo Performance mess with your mind.
It's still built like a Volvo.
Introducing the all-new Volvo S40.
Hey, what is it?
I realize I love you, but as long as you're with Jessica, there can never be anything between
Listen,
us.
Cassie, there's no need to cry. Besides, I've got really great news.
You're leaving Jessica.
No. I just saved a load of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. I saved. I thought that meant something to you.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Frank Thomas and the Sox face off against one of the AL's elite when Vladimir Guerrero and the Angels come to the South Side. White Sox Angels tomorrow at 12:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Lyle Overbay leads off the Brewers half of the second inning. Overbay leads the league in doubles with 35 of them. 9 home runs, 61 driven in, and a whopping .339 batting average.
Well, he tries to hit the ball just where it's pitched. Coming up through the Diamondback organization, he drove in seemingly 100 runs a year. He's on pace for about 65 doubles. And that's what Ned Yost said to him. Whatever you do, don't swing for the fences because that's not your game plan.
And I would think that would be the natural temptation for him coming here to Milwaukee, trying to replace a 40 home run man in Richie Sexson.
Well, I think that's what Ned Yost has done so well with his team, has got the most out of individual players by telling them to try to be themselves. And you're right, a first baseman who doesn't have great speed wants to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And if Overbay tries to do that, he's not going to be successful in the major leagues.
Well, they have another youngster that's a year and a half away or so by the name of Prince Fielder down in Double-A, who they do think can be that 40 home run guy for them down the road.
If he keeps developing, he's got prodigious power like his father, Cecil.
2-2 to Overbay. And on a check swing, he went around. The ball gets past Barrett, and Overbay will reach first.
You know, on that play, it goes against the Cubs, obviously, but Phil Cuzzy did a real nice job of letting Overbay know that it was a strike. Otherwise, if you don't point to the plate and let the hitter know, he's going to wind up getting thrown out. Now, by telling him that he did swing at it, you see it right there. Overbay has an opportunity to make it to first. And again, Carlos real unhappy because he got the ball where he wanted it. And unfortunately, with a strikeout to lead off an inning, Overbay is at first.
So give Carlos his second strikeout, but Overbay aboard in front of Ben Grieve. 5 walks for Grieve, and he's 1 for 2.
You can get the ball on the ground off the bat of this fellow. It's almost a guaranteed 2, because Grieve doesn't have particularly good speed. He does, however, have a wonderful eye at the plate, very rarely swinging at bad pitches.
So on the strikeout wild pitch, Overbay at first, and Grieve has an even count at 1-1.
Zambrano with his 3rd wild pitch of the year.
Back to the screen. Good cut. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Grieve, a former American League Rookie of the Year with Oakland.
Well, Grieve has tried to pull everything in this series. Somewhat surprising for a guy that doesn't have great power. To this point, Carlos has had real good stuff tonight. If this continues, it's going to be a tough night for the Brewers.
1-2 count. Really, the Cubs starting pitching in this series has been real effective. Fact of the matter is, offensively, the Cubs just have not been able to do anything at all with Milwaukee, especially their bullpen.
The Brewers haven't scored a lot. They haven't hit a lot, but they've scored and hit just enough. And that pitch is an example of what kind of an eye Grieve has, because normally just about any left-hander is out front of that one as it dips out of the zone. Now it'll be interesting if they send Overbay, who doesn't have real good speed. This could be a strike him out, throw him out.
He's going. Good jump, and it's ball 4. 2 are on with nobody out. And here's Ginter, who hit a home run in the first inning yesterday. He'll bat for the first time in tonight's second inning.
The count went to 3-1, and Mark Pryor threw a fastball that, by his own admission, just was right down the middle. And Ginter, who's always hit Pryor well, hit a 2-run homer, turned out to be the difference in the game. So Ginter's playing because Junior Spivey is out, and Spivey out from between 3 or 4 weeks because he decided he couldn't live without diving headfirst into first base in a 7-1 game.
Let's see what Ginter has in mind. No sign of a bunt, and he takes a strike. Brewers, I don't know if you can call it a unique way of trying to stop their players from diving headfirst into bags, but I think it's one that certainly is going to make the youngsters in the minor leagues sit up and take notice.
Well, from the time they come into the league, they find them if they do that.
0-2 quickly to Ginter.
And I think if you're a heads-up base runner, for all you young base runners out there, the only time you dive in or slide into first base is if you see the first baseman shifting, it's going to be a tag play. Other than that, just run through the bag and you'll get there more quickly.
2 on, nobody out for Milwaukee. The pitch just missed the corner. Zambrano wanted that. He takes a long walk toward the first base line, letting the home plate umpire, Phil Cuzzy, know he didn't think much of that call.
Michael Barrett wants it away. Carlos gets it out there, and you see Barrett yank it back over the corner, which pretty much tells you it was away. Good stop by Barrett because that keeps the double play in order. And Ginter's grounded into 7 of them. Carlos throws a lot of ground balls, and Barrett did a good job of making sure that the runners didn't move up 90 feet.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Scoreless game. Milwaukee again threatening with the game's first scoring opportunity. He goes on strikes. Good pitch. 1 man out.
Carlos throws a real good slider away, and Ginter has no chance. This is a dandy.
That's the pitch that's given this man some trouble, too. Young third baseman Wes Helms. Only 2 home runs, but remember, he spent about a month on the disabled list coming back from arthroscopic knee surgery.
He's grounded into 5 double plays, and the Cubs could use the 6th right here.
Out of play for a strike. Nothing in 1 your count. Helms came over from the Atlanta organization. Didn't have a chance to play every day for them. Ned Yost knew him well, brought him here to be his everyday third baseman. Took a little off, but missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball 2.
Well, this becomes a critical pitch in the sequence because you don't want to fall behind Helms 3-1 and then have him looking for a fastball, especially middle in. That's the one pitch that he can hit hard. Keep the ball away from him, and you got a good chance of either him swinging through it or getting the ground ball.
Overbay and Grieve lead. The pitch is cut on and missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's not going to hit that slider at all. And Carlos threw a good one. With the count even, Helms is a strikeout waiting to happen on a similar pitch.
Hit to right field and cleanly through. Overbay to third. They're going to wave him around on Sammy. Sosa's throw is cut off, and Milwaukee again leads by a run.
Carlos threw a high fastball. He made him look real bad on a slider and threw a high fastball, and Helms took it into right field for RBI number 16.
So the wild pitch comes back to roost, and Helms drives home the game's first run.
As bad as Helms has looked on the breaking ball in this series, I think you're doing him a favor with the high fastball, and it cost the Cubs a run.
That'll bring up the catcher, Chad Moeller. His highlight offensively this season was hitting for the cycle at the end of April against the Reds, who will be in starting here tomorrow night. Anthony's for a strike. You'd love to get Moeller here, for Davis can't hit a lick. He's 0 for his last 40. And waits next.
It's Moeller and Bennett behind the plate. Moeller's a little better offensively. Bennett has a better arm. They both call a very good game. To this point, the Brewers are very happy with the platoon behind the plate. Eventually, they'd love to work a left-hander into the mix, but at this point, they just don't have one.
1-0 Milwaukee in the 1-1 pitch. Broken bat roller, bare hand play. Zambrano second, 1, first 2. How about that double play? A bare-handed grab, a 360 spin, and Milwaukee settles for 1 in the second inning of play.
Honey, we should get that new Jaguar.
Here's something telling you it's time to get a Jaguar. Presenting the Unleash a Jaguar sales event. Get an X-Type 3.0 for $349 a month at your local Jaguar retailer. Unleash one today.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
It's a hurricane warning, folks. Category 5. Severe coastal flooding instructions.
Grab whatever you can. Meet me back here. Vitamin.
What, you crazy, lady? Hey, baby doll.
No. We're gonna die.
You know, it's more about the mental, you know, than it is the physical, and, you know, what kind of heart a guy has. If he really wants to win, you've got to take the last breath out of him in order to beat him. That's the kind of players I like on my team.
The word is out. Now current GM owners and lessees get $5,000 loyalty cash on every 2004 Chevy Tahoe or Suburban.
And I love being part of the Chevy team because I like to win, and I like to be part of winners.
You're watching Chevy Baseball Wednesdays, presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Saturday, July 17th, the Cubs and Brewers will meet again at Wrigley Field. Arrive early as the first 10,000 adults 21 and older get a Cubs road baseball cap. We go to the third inning as Carlos Zambrano gives up 1 run to the Brewers in the second.
He fields his position very well. Bare hand pickup. And an easy 1-6-3 after the pickup. Nice job by Zambrano.
Well, here's Brendan Harris. His first major league hit, a ringing double to right center last night. That drove home a Cub run. And he said himself, once he got that first hit out of the way, he was able to relax. So another trophy for the mantelpiece for the young draft pick of the Cubs 3 short seasons ago.
2001, the Cubs drafted him in the 5th round. He had some pretty good numbers in the minor league. 2002 at Daytona and West Tennessee, hit .329, .321 respectively.
Out off his foot at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Speaking of Iowa, great news regarding Kerry Wood yesterday. He threw the ball exceptionally well, apparently. He's on his way to St. Louis, where he'll join us tomorrow for the off day. Then he'll sit down with Larry Rothschild, Dusty Baker, and perhaps Jim Hendry, the Cubs general manager, and map out strategy for perhaps a start on Sunday before the break. Harris out of play.
Went 5 innings. Had a chance to lay down a bunt, had a couple of at-bats, and threw 58 pitches, coasting through 5. So if he reports no ill effects, I think we expect to see him start that Sunday night game before the break. And the Cubs certainly will welcome him back.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Brendan takes it in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We've talked a lot about the pipeline of pitching talent the Cubs have coming through the system. We've seen Jason DuBois. We've seen David Kelton. Now Harris getting a look out of the Cubs minor league pipeline. And a grounder hit to the right side. Ginter bobbles for a moment and gets Harris by a step. 1 up, 1 down.
Well, you get a break at second base if you stay in front of it, because you do get 1 bobble, you can still make the play. If this happens at shortstop, you got a problem. He doesn't field it cleanly, but stays right with it and gets it there. Full step ahead of Brendan Harris. Now Carlos, who has a whole lot of power from the right side, will get an opportunity against Davis.
Carlos hitting 162. He trails 1-0. He's thinking about tying it up. A little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Broke his bat.
And he's unhappy with that. Must have been his favorite bat, because when the handle broke, he decided to make sure it was really broken by breaking it over his knee.
Just like Bo Jackson used to do.
Except he did it with bats that weren't broken.
Be a little embarrassing if you go to do that and it doesn't break.
And I think Phil Cuzzy is having a word with Zambrano about try some decaf, Pally.
One-two count. And that bat obviously had a defect in it. Zambrano missed the baseball, and that's out number 2. Break that one, Carlos.
He's using Sammy's bat. You can tell by the taped handle.
Three strikeouts for Davis. Here's Mark Grudzielanek. He took a called third his first time up. White Sox are in action at home tonight. And they're trailing Anaheim after a couple of innings of play. Guillen hit a home run for the Halos. It's 2-0 Angels. Special day on the south side, too. Ted Double Duty Ratcliffe celebrating his 102nd birthday today. Ted Ratcliffe, one of the stars of the old Negro Leagues, and attends a lot of White Sox games.
He threw out the first pitch. Like a real nice little ceremony for him. Had to be thrilling. There were some great players to come out of those Negro Leagues.
2 balls, no strikes. Of course, Jackie Robinson, Henry Aaron, Satchel Paige, many of them enshrined in Cooperstown. And there is a separate Negro Leagues museum in Kansas City, Missouri. If you're ever in that great city, check it out. It is a wonderful, wonderful place. Buck O'Neill has a great deal to do with that. Buck, another legend of the Negro Leagues.
We see Buck around a whole lot of ballparks. And these are the guys, Chip, that you know about because they made the major leagues eventually, but there's a whole list of great players that never had the opportunity because, as we know, the color barrier.
Popped up out of play, full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Of course, throughout Major League Baseball these days, you couldn't retire every number of a Negro League superstar, but one number will never be worn again, and that's 42. Forever retired is the number worn by Jackie Robinson. Another pop, right field line. Grieve on the run, will not have a play. Steve, you grew up in Cleveland, and Larry Doby, a man you played for, was the man that broke the color barrier in the American League.
Bill
Satchel Paige, too.
Yeah, but Bill Veeck was the man that brought him into baseball. And Satchel Paige could still pitch when he got to the major leagues, and he was in his 40s. He pitched a major league game when he was in his 60s.
In fact, he debuted on this date in 1948 with the Indians. Bill Veeck indeed did bring him to the major leagues. A lot of people around baseball said this is just a publicity stunt. Satchel Paige went 6-1 in the second half of the year for that Cleveland ball club.
And that was the last world championship for the Cleveland Indians, 1948. And in those days, they drew over 2 million people. Bill Veeck had a pretty good idea about how to do a lot of things.
And just missed. Grudzielanek was called out on a close pitch the first time up. Maybe his beefing earned him a pass to first base here with 2 outs in the third.
I think it was almost the same pitch. Same count. This one, Grudzielanek gets the benefit of the doubt and goes to first base. That one certainly did look low. So the inning stays alive.
Corey punted safely his first time up. He'll try to split a gap here and try to tie this game at 1. In the dirt, good stop by Moeller. Skies clearing here above Miller Park in Milwaukee. We'll see these guys a lot this month. 11 times in July. We're back for 4 more, the 26th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And again, a huge gathering of Cubs fans from the northern suburbs have made the trek. We'd love to see you during the week here as well for that 4-game series at the end of the month.
There's going to be over 120,000 fans attending these 3 games. And for a team that's averaged 21,000 as these Brewers have, which by the way is up 4,000 a game over last year, you'd have to figure this would give this organization a tremendous boost.
1 ball, 1 strike. Popped up left side. Helms will not have a play. And the count is 1-2 to Corey.
And though he holds true, talking with John McDonough, the marketing guru of the Chicago Cubs, the best that you can hope for as a marketing man is to have a good baseball team, because that's going to draw more people. Then the rest obviously is up to imagination and how good you can be.
Corey chased the ball out of the strike zone that time. Doug Davis has struck out 4 Cubs through 3 innings and has a 1-0 lead.
You don't have to leave civilization to find adventure. The 245 horsepower all-wheel drive Nissan Murano.
Cubs World Series tickets.
$20.
I give up my life savings. $1,000.
My cat.
My condo. My car. My mom. My 401k.
My brother. My sister.
I have 2 kidneys. I would give you up.
Seeing the Cubs in the World Series?
Oh man, it's priceless.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accepted wherever there's hope.
There's something special in the air on the best damn sports show, period.
Please welcome Shaquille O'Neal, Samuel Jackson.
On the best damn sports show, period. Tonight on Fox Sports Net.
You can elect to go left. You can elect to go right. Or you can be an independent. Summer Jam. Join the party now at your Cadillac dealer. Cadillac. Breakthrough.
Visit your Chicagoland area Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer. See dealer for residency restrictions.
Doug Davis is 0 for his last 40.
But that's deceiving because he's been hitting in tough luck.
Hard hit ball that time. He's 0 for 41.
I told you.
1 up, 1 down. Smart Alec. Critics are calling the best sports show, period, a 90-minute frat party with irreverent skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter tonight after the game. Luis Gonzalez will talk about the future with the Arizona Diamondbacks. That is definitely a club in a state of flux. They fired Bob Brenly. Steve Finley is on the block. Maybe Randy Johnson, maybe some others. And Arizona, 24 games under the 500 mark. 1 ball, 1 strike to Scott Podsednik.
Here's a guy you don't mind throwing high fastballs to because he usually pops them up.
He does to left. Alou will make the play. You'll see left fielders in this ballpark at times struggle with fly balls this time of night. As you look off to our right, the roof looks kind of like an aircraft hangar. There are a lot of panes of window glass with the metal superstructure holding the roof on, and sometimes the ball will get lost in the lights and the glare there. Fortunately here, Alou had no trouble to take care of Podsednik. 2 quick outs for Counsell. Counsell rolled out to short his first time up. Milwaukee leads 1-0. A fastball to Wes Helms, hit to right field, scored Lyle Overbay. He reached on a strikeout and a wild pitch. Cardinals have jumped in front of the Reds 1-0. St. Louis winners of 5 in a row. Jesus Sanchez for Cincinnati, Woody Williams for the Cardinals.
Well, they're getting Cincinnati at the right time because with Sean Casey on the disabled list, that's when you want to play the Reds. Casey tied for the league lead in batting average, but of no use to the Cincinnatis for some time.
Still no word, by the way, who will take Casey's all-star roster spot coming up next week.
We also haven't had a word, and we were supposed to get it today, Chip, on the 32nd man and who was voted. Obviously, the Cubs would love to see Aramis Ramirez voted in.
And there are 5 men up for that last spot. Ramirez, one of them. Bobby Abreu, Jason Kendall, among the 5 in the National League. And as Jenkins hits with 2 outs, he popped out. Great catch by Martinez, retired him in shallow left.
You have to keep a close eye on Counsell because he's one of the guys that will run. There are the 5 that you have to choose from that will represent the 32nd man chosen to the All-Star team.
Close play at first. Back safely, Counsell.
He's stolen 9 bases this year, been thrown out 3 times. The Brewers don't have a whole lot of power, so they've been running quite a bit. 59 steals. They've been gunned down 23 times. And when they've run in this series, they've been successful.
1 ball, no strikes. Leaning and back safely is Counsell.
That's one of the things that Carlos has improved about his game is he's really quickened it up to home plate. Times we've got him at 1-1, and that makes it pretty tough. If whoever's catching gets off a good throw, you're going to throw out the base runner.
1 ball, no strikes to Jenkins. High towering fly ball hammered right field, pretty deep. Sammy at the track, at the wall, he'll leap, and it's gone. 9th home run allowed by Zambrano, and the Brewers have a 3-0 lead. Had the roof been closed, that one might have scraped the rafters on the way out.
12th home run, 45th and 6th run batted in. Bernie Brewer takes the slide, and the Brewers extend their lead. This looked like an off-speed pitch down. Jenkins hit a towering fly. Sammy can't get to it. He didn't miss it by that much, but he missed it by enough.
So the 2-out walk allows Jenkins to hit, and he parks it out into right field. And the Brewers, with just 2 hits, have scored 3 times tonight. That's been their calling card. They have gotten by with a minimum of offense.
They had 4 hits in last night's game. They had 3 hits in the opener. So 7 hits in 2 games, you come away with 2 wins. It's somewhat unbelievable, but that shows you the state of the Brewer pitching now. In years past, they'd get blown out of those games, and now they're doing a real good job in those games.
Out of play by Overbay, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And they have been a bargain bin baseball club with regards to finding their starting pitching. You got to give them credit. Davis, 8 wins. Matt Kinney's won 3 times, although 15 of his outings out of the bullpen. He started 6 games.
Well,
Wes Obermuller 3.
Santos
8 in 13 starts.
And he was 2-8 lifetime, and they got him for nothing.
High fly out of play again by Overbay. Brewers are on the right track. And they're up by 3 in the 3rd inning in the wrap-up this evening.
We had a long talk with Ned Yost before this series started. A lot like Dusty, when I asked him what was the most difficult part of managing, he said to me, and I know Dusty feels the same way, it's the handling of your players before and after the game. He said the communication with your players is the whole art of managing. He goes, everybody knows how to bunt or hit and run or all of those other things. But dealing with 25 diverse personalities and keeping them up on a daily basis, keeping them hustling on a daily basis, is the art of management.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you have to manage the game. You have to manage the people who play it. Ned Yost learned under one of the best in Bobby Cox. Dusty Baker, for all those years with the Dodgers, tutored under Roger Craig with the Giants.
Well, Ned said that he felt that Bobby Cox was as good at keeping a positive attitude among his players as anybody he had ever seen. And he spent a long apprenticeship under Bobby.
Hard hit ball towards short, and that's off the glove of Martinez. Hard hit ball with 2 outs. Overbay reaches. We'll wait and see how that scores.
It's a base hit. It is a hard hit ball. It was right at Ramon. But it's also in Milwaukee.
That's a couple of balls in as many games that have handcuffed Ramon at short. So the 2-out trouble continues. Here's Grieve. You know about his eye. He's walked 6 times in the series already and quickly is ahead of the count. And now Carlos Zambrano screams, and Michael Barrett tries to calm down Phil Cuzzy. That's an example for Carlos where his emotions sometimes get the best of him. It's easy for the umpire to misinterpret whether Zambrano's yelling at him or himself. And now Larry Rothschild's out to try to settle him down.
Well, first of all, in the at-bat to Counsell, it was ball 4. It was inside. Carlos probably very unhappy with himself giving up the 2-run homer to Jenkins. But now Phil Cuzzy is coming out. Larry Rothschild wants to get Carlos back as far as his head in the game and keep him right at 3.
I thought Michael Barrett did a nice job, too, of turning around and telling Cuzzy, hey, he wasn't screaming at you. He's screaming at himself. Watch Barrett after this pitch and the curse. And Barrett, as Cuzzy says, are you talking to me? Michael said, no, I think he was talking to himself or to me.
He's seen too many De Niro movies.
Yes. 1 ball, no strikes. It's even now at 1-1. Reeve now behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And in keeping with our De Niro theme, they're not banging the drums slowly on the PA system up here. They've been making a lot of noise, have these Brewer fans of late.
They're pretty excited about this team, and you can understand it.
Tipped and caught, and then dropped.
Cubs are going to have to come back and rally in this one. They're down 3. If they don't, the Brewers and the Cubs will be deadlocked in the loss column.
One ball, 2 strikes. A mile-high fly ball right center field, but Corey Patterson should track it down. And he does. A walk, a homer, and an infield hit, all with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Jeff Jenkins' blast gives Milwaukee a 3-run lead. Three 0 Milwaukee after 3. The heart of the Cub order. Sosa, Alou, and Derek Lee coming up. Let's see if the second time through against Doug Davis a little more profitable for the Cubs offense. This guy on the mound isn't going to try to blow the ball past you. It's here it is, hit it if you can, and the Cubs for the most part tonight haven't. Just 1 hit, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts.
He's been the definition of the crafty left-hander. He cuts the ball inside, he sinks it away. You have 17 inches on the plate to work with. He uses every bit of them. And he's found the spot for Sammy. He just keeps throwing high fastballs by him.
That one at 89 miles an hour at the letters.
It's not the speed that's fooling him. Sammy's got to make him come downstairs or he's going to have some problems.
That one too high, however, for him to offer. Sammy will be participating in the home run challenge down at Minute Maid Park in Houston. And I would imagine with the Crawford boxes in left field, the fans out there are going to get worn out during that particular contest.
Well, they're going to sail a few over those boxes. Sammy is bringing Benny Katahita down to throw him some batting practice.
Letter high called third, and Sammy disagrees. He wants to know from Phil Cuzzy where it was.
Well, they've been unhappy with Phil Cuzzy, and that was a delayed call third. This is that cut fastball, and he went back door with it, threw it on the outside corner. That looked like it was high and away. Sammy takes a call third. Looks like he has a legitimate complaint with that one.
They've been calling that high and away pitch against him in this series a lot. And he struck out for the 5th time here at Miller Park. Here's Alou. Bases empty, 1 out. 1-0 your count. Fisted over first, and that'll twist out of reach of Lyle Overpay.
Looks like Moises might have cracked his bat.
Break it over your knee, Moises. Carlos did it. It's apparently pretty easy to do. No such luck. That boy brings him a new war club here. 3-0 Milwaukee. A single run in the second, a 2-run shot from Jeff Jenkins in the third.
The Cubs lone hit a Patterson bunt. Neither of these teams in this series have been whacking the cover off the ball.
Cubs 3 runs, 13 hits in the series. Milwaukee 8 runs and 10 hits in the series, including tonight. Fly ball hammered left center field deep. Podsednik on the warning track has room. That's where the park deepens in left center. And Alou, a long fly out, is retired for out number 2.
Well, had Moises picked just about any other spot, that would have been a home run. But he gave Podsednik all kinds of time to go back under it. It's exactly where the cutout is in center field. That's the equivalent to the well at Wrigley Field.
Derek Lee retired by counsel his first time up. And let's take a quick peek, Steve, at our Aflac trivia question tonight. With the All-Star game right around the corner, July 13th. Do you remember who was last year's internet selectee for the final roster spot in the National League?
Was it Carmen Fanzone?
Close. But unfortunately,
no cigar?
Yet again, incorrect. I'll have the answer for you in the bottom half of our 4th inning. I think I know the answer, and I believe he's on the field of play as we speak. That got a piece of Moeller. Two balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball center field. Podsednik will play it on a hop. second Cub hit. A sharply hit ball with 2 outs from Derek Lee.
But Sednick caught a break. He thought he could catch it. It was a sinking line drive, and at the end, he just had to make sure he blocked it. Derek keeps the inning alive.
And now it's Cub catcher Michael Barrett's second turn. He flied to left. Jeff Jenkins tracked that down. No balls and a strike. Rounded up the middle, that'll get through. So the Cubs, with some 2-out hitting themselves here, bring up Ramon Martinez with a chance to tie the game.
Barrett takes it right back up the middle. In the outfield that they're going to run on, they'll run on Podsednik and Grieve. Jenkins with by far the most accurate and best arm in the outfield, and he's in left.
Inside corner, good pitch. Well, you just get the feeling for the Cubs, if they could score 2 runs in any inning, the pressure would be off and the offense would come back to life. They just have not been able to sustain any kind of a rally. And they're going to be out of this 4th inning. Ground out to the shortstop. Retires Michael Barrett. 2 hits, 2 left. We're through 3.5, trailing 3-0.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
A rover can get out of a ditch on the moon. If a tugboat can tow an enormous freighter. If an M1 tank can have a heavy-duty Allison transmission, then why can't your truck? At GMC, our engineers don't just ask questions, they have answers. The GMC Sierra line of pickups. Professional-grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to.
Welcome to the House of Beer. We have 170 kinds of beer from all over the world. The beers are color-coded and separated by country, style, and color. Call me when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'll have a Sam Adams. Yeah.
You can go around the world and not find a better beer than Samuel Adams. Always a good decision.
Sundays at 10 p.m. Join Gail Fisher and Damon Andrews for Chicago Baseball Extra. Take a look back at the week that was with expert analysis from Joe Girardi and Ron Kittle. Chicago Baseball Extra, presented by Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage. Sundays at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
There's the duck.
Let's revisit our Aflac trivia question. Who was the fans' internet choice for the final National League All-Star spot last year? And he's one of the hitting heroes for the Brewers tonight. And a man obscured by that poll, Jeff Jenkins, the Brewer left fielder.
How coincidental is that? This year it's Bobby Abreu. So apparently the fans have an affinity for left-hand hitting outfielders.
1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the count to Keith Kidder. He was strikeout victim number 3 for Zambrano tonight. Phillies having problems with the Mets. Steve Traxell's been staked to a 3-0 lead in the second. And a ground ball hit toward the hole left side. Ramon deep in the hole, makes a good pickup and gets his man by a step. 1 out.
That was a good effort by Ramon. He got to the ball as quickly as he possibly could. Brendan Harris tried to cut it off and couldn't. And Ramon able to get it there a step ahead of Ginter.
That National League East race really tightening up from first to fourth. It's 2.5 games separating the Phillies, Mets, Marlins, and Braves.
I would think you'd see a couple of those teams deal, because right now the way it sets up between the wild card and division, a lot of teams still in the race.
The Mets, if they win, would be a game behind the Phillies as Helms dumps that into shallow right. Late break by Sammy. Did it come up? He did. Diving catch by Sosa takes care of Helms. Fine play for out number 2.
For a moment, that one looked like it was going to drop, but Sammy got a good jump. He came on and made the catch. It stays in the glove. This is a good effort.
Moeller will dig in with 2 outs. He hit into a double play his first time up. Florida's losing at home tonight to Pittsburgh. 4-2 in the 7th. The Marlins have dropped 6 of their last 10 games and will be just 1 over 500 if that score stays the same. Atlanta, meanwhile, killing Montreal down in San Juan again. The Braves trying to win their 4th straight. Could be a game and a half back all of a sudden in the East. And Moeller with a 2-out hit brings up Davis.
Pittsburgh is starting to play better baseball, and although they're not going to win it or get the wild card, they could make it awfully uncomfortable. That would make a pretty tough 6-team division if the Pirates, playing within the division, really start beating up on a whole lot of people.
Well, they've got the guy going tonight the Cubs have not seen this year, the big tall left-hander Oliver Perez. They got from San Diego for Brian Giles. He was throwing tonight and is beating Carl Pavano. Is gunning for his 10th win. By the way, if you want to win a lot of bets, name the National League hit leader at this point.
It's not Carmen Fanzone?
No. Although he was good with the trumpet. Not those kinds of hits. Jack Wilson of the Pittsburgh Pirates with 117 is the pace setter in that department in the National League.
Well, he's been hitting in the 340s just about all year long. Probably because Jack does play in Pittsburgh. He is the most talented shortstop that you haven't heard anything about. And as you can see, he's winning by a large margin. How about the year of Northwestern's own Mark Loretta?
Boy, has his career taken off since he went to the Padres. He's an all-star. The pitch chopped foul at the plate, and Davis will stay alive.
And by all estimations, Loretta, one of the smarter players in the league, not only because he went to Northwestern, I'm talking about baseball acumen. He's been a great addition to a San Diego team that finds themselves atop the National League West. That's somewhat surprising.
By a game over the Dodgers, the Giants slumping a game and a half back. Another shot by Davis to first. Derek Lee makes the play.
Told you, hitting in tough luck.
He's 0 for his last 42, but hang with him, Doug. He leads at 3-0 heading to the 5th.
Hyundai's on a winning streak, and during Hyundai's winning streak summer clearance, save big on models like the stylish Hyundai Sonata, named highest-ranked entry midsize car in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. It's this dedication to initial quality that lets Hyundai offer America's best warranty: 10 years, 100,000 miles. Plus, get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% APR. So don't buy another car before you check out Hyundai's winning streak summer clearance. Hurry to your Hyundai dealer for up to $2,000 cash back or 0% APR.
When we are dancing and you're dangerous, near me, I get ideas, and after we have kissed goodnight, still you linger.
Rico moves your ideas forward.
You get ideas too.
fast lane is under new ownership. Supercharged Grand Prix Comp G, V8 GXP, and 350 horsepower GTO. Together for the first time in the most thrilling performance of the season. Pontiac Summer Drive, the performance of the year, the ride of a lifetime. Now playing at Pontiac dealers everywhere.
The best damn sports show, period. Tonight on Fox Sports Net.
Time for a Pontiac in-game update. I'm Gail Fisher inside the Fox Sports Net newsroom. Let's get caught up on some scores from around the NL Central. Pittsburgh beating Florida in the 7th, 4-2. Former Cub Bobby Hill with a couple of RBI. St. Louis and Cincinnati all tied up at 1 apiece in the 4th, and Houston and San Diego go at it later tonight in about 40 minutes at Petco Park. Oswalt and Peavy on the mound in that one. Now let's send it back to Milwaukee.
Gail, thank you very much. And unfortunately, the Cubs are down 3-0 as we go to inning number 5. Harris, Zambrano, and Grudzielanek go to work first in our Toyota Fan of the Game inning. Today's contestant, Heather Heinzel of Lincoln, Illinois. The Cubs score here in the 5th. Heather will win a Fox Sports Net Toyota prize package, which includes a hat and a t-shirt. Harris out of play for a strike. It's 0-1.
I talked with Brendan Harris before the game tonight. He was very happy with his debut. He wanted to make a better throw on the first ball hit to him, but it looked like he swung the bat pretty well.
By the way, for those of you who keep score at home, they changed the scoring on that first inning play of which Steve spoke a moment ago. They gave Counsell a bunt hit in that first inning. Conversely, Pryor credited at first with no earned runs, now charged with 4 earned runs in 4 innings of work. So the ERA takes a pounding as Pryor took the defeat. Harris down on strikes. 1 up, 1 down.
That went up and out of the strike zone, and Davis is getting a lot of mileage on that high fastball. He's taking advantage of a very young hitter and his over anxiousness. Bill Cousy said he went around far enough.
Here's Zambrano. Carlos struck out his first time. And again, the Cubs pitching this last week has been pretty doggone good. But when you don't score, you don't win. Cubs a 2.29 staff ERA in the last week. They've allowed 17 runs coming into play tonight. An opponent's batting average of $181. Well, the offense, 3 runs a game. That's it.
Well, they certainly have missed Ramirez. He drove in a whole lot of key runs, and hopefully he'll be back when the Cubs, after the day off, take on the Cardinals.
Pitching's kept him in it, but bats have got to pick up some slack, and certainly getting a Ramos back maybe by the Cardinal weekend will help greatly. Ground ball to the right side. Ginter, good play to his left, covered a lot of ground. 2 out. 2 up, 2 down for Grudzielanek. He has struck out and he has walked. Where's Chris Benson going to end up, you think? He's
well, I think
to be on the block.
Dave Littlefield is the man that's probably asking the same thing, because he will have many inquiries about Benson, and he's one of the guys that they would like to move. And with Garcia gone to the White Sox, Benson becomes one of the key, probably 2 or 3 starters to be available.
We were talking during the break, and you mentioned the Yankees, and with that veteran pitching staff for New York having some injury problems, that certainly would be a logical destination for Benson. The question is, Steve, with all the dealing New York has done in years past, how good, how deep is that farm system, or would the Pirates simply be happy just to unload Benson's salary?
No, they're gonna hold out for the highest bidder, and I don't think the Yankees match up with them.
Fly ball right center field, pretty deep but playable. And it'll be Ben Grieve in right. Perfect 5th inning for Davis, who's mesmerizing the Cubs bats. Just 3 hits for Dusty's boys, and we trail it 3-0.
free to move about the country.
Robert Morris College is one of the largest private colleges in the state. We awarded more bachelor's degrees in business management than any other private college in Illinois. A college that will test one's inner strength and create a competitive attitude, where students design a path toward their future and turn their dreams into reality. It all leads to a collegiate experience that's like no other. Robert Morris College. Real college for the real world.
Ron Santo. All Chicagoans admire him for his brilliant career at third base and as today's broadcast voice of the Cubs. No wonder he always draws a crowd.
Can I have your autograph?
What other reason could there be?
They like my Chevy.
Right now, current GM owners and lessees can get $5,000 loyalty cash on a 2004 Chevy Tahoe.
Mr. Santo, can I drive your Chevy?
See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Chip and Stoney back at Miller Park in Milwaukee again, Steve. The Brewers get an early lead, and their pitching has made a 3-0 advantage stand up so far tonight.
Doug Davis is throwing the invisible ball, and for the Cubs, offense has been non-existent in this ballpark. They've got to come back again or suffer the ignominious feat of being swept for the first time in a year and a half.
Scott Podsednik leads things off for the Brewers in the 5th inning, and Zambrano jumps ahead of him with a quick called strike. Podsednik 0 for 2. He's flied out and struck out tonight. Jeff Jenkins, a 2-out, 2-run homer. And Wes Helms, a base hit to right, scoring Lyle Overbay, has accounted for all of Milwaukee's offense this evening. They'll host Cincinnati next, and a line drive over first by Podsednik. That's in the corner. He's thinking about 2. Sammy cuts it off nicely. His throw will be late, and Podsednik in with his 18th double.
Podsednik with very good speed has the play in front of him. You know they're going to run on Sammy. He makes a pretty decent throw, but can't get it there in time. So as this one goes down into the corner, Sammy gets to the ball as quickly as he possibly can, but Podsednik just a step too fast, and he slides in easily at second.
Let's see if Counsell lays down a bunt here in the 5th inning. He takes the ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Counsell this year with 5 sacrifices. Ordinarily, Steve, he was not the number 2 hitter on this team. Junior Spivey was.
Well, the only thing that Ned Yost was concerned about was putting the 5 left-handers in a row because of bullpen matchups. It sure puts a lot of pressure on right-handed starters.
Bunted foul for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, your count. One and 1, the count to Counsell. Cardinals lead the Reds 2-1 now in the 5th inning in St. Louis. Cubs in the All-Star break, we hope, will sidetrack St. Louis. They have been scorching hot. That's over the Phillies 4-0. That one's in the 4th. 4-2 Pirates over Florida, bottom 8. Atlanta's offense clicking. They're up 9-1 in San Juan in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, now Counsell is going to go out and try to pull this ball. They've taken the bunt off, and he's in the driver's seat at 3-1.
They tried to give the Cubs an out. Instead, Zambrano gives them a walk. 3rd of the night, 1st and 2nd, nobody out for Jenkins. So he was thinking about his second home run. The first one just out of reach of Sammy and right.
Well, the difference is that this one was down. And Jenkins does not hit the ball up. Just barely making it past the outstretched glove of Sammy Sosa. And that's where to pitch him. You can throw a ball by him all day long right there. Jenkins will either miss it or pop it up, but he just can't get over the top, and during the course of his career hasn't shown he can consistently lay off that pitch.
84 pitches for Zambrano into inning number 5 tonight. He went around, 1 out.
That's 3 pitches in the same spot, and that's how you dispatch Jenkins.
Four punch outs for Carlos. Here's Overbay. Maybe the Cubs can induce a ground ball off of his bat. And clearly he did not check his swing. Infield hit for Overbay last time up. And a ground ball right side. Lee will go to second for 1. Zambrano covers the bag and couldn't touch it with the toe.
That's the toughest of all double plays, the 3-6-1, because you've got a pitcher coming over trying to locate the bag and look for the throw from shortstop. Carlos did a nice job, but in the end, he couldn't locate the bag quickly enough. Good throw by Lee, good throw by Martinez. And as you see, the throw just pulled him off the bag. So Cubs make it real close, but the inning stays alive.
And you have to face Grieve, who is a very patient hitter. He's walked and flied to center. Looking ahead to the Cubs' 6th. Patterson, Sosa, and Alou are scheduled for the Cubs. He trail it 3-0 at Miller Park. Fisted into center field. That'll drop for a 2-out hit. Pasednik scores to make it 4-0. 3 of the Brewers' runs with 2 outs tonight. And Grieve with 21 driven in. Overbay stops at second, and Ginter will hit.
Well, it would have been a very difficult double play. We do know that. But when you don't turn them and you give major league teams another out, you usually wind up having to pay the price for it.
Ginter is struck out and grounded out tonight. Takes the ball low. 1 ball, no strikes.
This same Brewer team got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates in a 4-game series before the Cubs came here. The Brewers have been very tough at home.
6 over 500 entering play tonight at 23-17. In fact, Pittsburgh, the only team in the division under 500 at home, and that's at 18-22. Central from top to bottom, arguably the best and most competitive division in all of baseball. Pirates with a win tonight could get to within 6 games of 500. They've got a 1-run game on their hands in South Florida tonight. 2-1 count. Catches the corner, 2-2.
Francis Beltran thrown in the bullpen.
Carlos at 91 pitches. Inning over. 5 strikeouts for Zambrano, but a 2-out fluke hit from Ben Grieve extends the Brewer lead to 4-0.
Introducing Summer Takeoff. Stay at any AmeriSuites or Wellesley Ensign Suites and receive $100 off any airline ticket anytime. So check in and take off.
Tell me what happened today.
My robots don't kill people.
And you trust them if you want to. Will Smith.
Hot. Rated PG-13. July 16th.
All day long, I'm miles away. Hour after hour, just slips on by. Please be pie. Oh, please be pie. Oh, please be pie. Oh, please be pie. Oh, please be pie. All day long, I dream Caroline.
It was her older sister's bike. But I made sure for her it ran like new. Now it's her first car, and although it's not brand new, I know the same attention went into making it feel like it was.
All quality check certified pre-owned Fords come with a 115-point inspection completed by Ford-trained technicians. Ford Quality Certified, the only way to buy a pre-owned vehicle, and only at your local Ford store.
So just like that, she's gone from 2 wheels to 4.
Cubs fans, enjoy a drink with your friends before, during, or after the game at the Friendly Confines. Near the corner of Addison and Sheffield, the Friendly Confines offers easy access in and out of the game. Enjoy Cubs ambience inside or order from the grill and relax in the outdoor patio.
Well, the great Yogi Berra once said it's gotten late early, and that's where we are tonight in Milwaukee. The Cubs, no runs and 3 hits, have just 12 outs left, trailing by 4 with Patterson, Sammy Sosa, and Moises Alou coming up.
Well, this Milwaukee team coming into the game had an ERA of .393. So for a staff, they've really surprised a whole lot of people. And when you get to the end with Vizcaíno setting up for Kolb, they've been close to unbeatable if they have the lead late.
And .393, Steve, is good for 5th in the National League. Just 22 hundredths behind the New York Mets staff, which leads the National League in earned run average this year. And Patterson down on 4 pitches. Corey 2 for 11 in the series. And has struck out 5 times. That's been a big problem. The Cubs are not collectively making consistent contact. 1 out.
Well, they're making a guy that doesn't strike out a whole lot of hitters look real good with 7 strikeouts tonight. And Davis has been very good. But he averages about 7 per 9 innings. Maybe a little less than that.
His season high is 7, done against the Mariners on June 16th. His career high is 8. And he's 1 away from that with Sosa. Sammy's been punched out twice, and he's quickly down 0-2.
Well, you got to figure he's going to the face-high fastball. Let's see if Sammy can lay off. Davis has done a great job of changing speeds. They've reworked just about everything, including his delivery and pitch selection. You see the high fastball.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Davis for Milwaukee. As big a find as Glendon Rush has been for the Cubs from the left side in a starting role.
And they thought a whole lot personally of Glendon Rush in this ballpark, but last year for him just a lost year.
Ball foul past third.
As far as the Cubs are concerned, he's been absolutely wonderful. And the role that he's been asked to play has kept the Cubs afloat. They still are the leaders in the wild card. Glendon Rush a big part of that, because when you don't have Pryor, when he comes back you don't have Wood, you have to have somebody step up, and Rush has done a great job.
2-2 your count to Sammy. That's the pitch that Cussy called earlier. This time it's a little off the plate.
Well, it looked like Phil was just about ready to twitch that right arm, and he gave Sammy the benefit of the doubt.
Now the 3-2 pitch with the bases empty. And he lost him. Second walk. And that'll bring up Moises Alou. And we're home for a nice long homestand. 4 with the Brewers, 2 with the Cardinals, 2 with the Reds. And Thursday, July 22nd against Cincinnati. Join us at 1:20 at Wrigley Field. First 5,000 girls 14 and under get an American Girl doll-sized Cubs uniform. Compliments of MBNA.
Well, here's where Moises is going to try to make it 4-2. He hit the ball very well in the 4th inning, but he hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark. And I think he's seen the ball pretty well from Davis. Let's see if the 3rd time is the charm.
Thumb toward 3rd. Helms will go to 2nd for 1, and that's in plenty of time to take care of Sammy. 2 out.
Well, that was a good pitch as Davis cut the ball right in on the hands of Moises and just sawed him off. He couldn't get his hands out at all.
You mentioned that earlier, Steve. That cut fastball has been a huge and hugely effective addition to Davis's arsenal.
Well, he did a whole lot of that last year, and it was Mike Maddox who said you're going to have to start throwing away to some of these right-handers to set up what you do best, and that's got the fastball in on their hands.
A 1-for-2 night for Derek Lee. Well, what a different looking Milwaukee staff we have seen in this series as opposed to last year. The bullpen's been outstanding. The starting pitching in this series terrific. Anchored, of course, by all-star Ben Sheets. And it seems like, Steve, 70% of the Cubs hitters have been behind in the count here at Miller Park.
Most pitching coaches, and Larry Rothschild and Mike Maddox no exception, they're going to tell their pitchers, sometimes you can't execute it, but you have to pitch ahead. If you don't have overwhelming stuff, you definitely have to pitch ahead. And Davis falls into that category.
0-2 your count. Alou a short lead. Cubs trail by 4, and Lee stays alive. And that's what Ray Miller said. Work quickly and get ahead. Throw strikes.
Well, Doug Melvin had good foresight, knowing that Davis was a pretty good pitcher for a while with the Texas organization. Then he got hurt. Melvin was named the general manager here. He gave Davis a shot, and he certainly has made the most of it.
Breaking ball off the plate. You're a guy that played with several different organizations. Sometimes, I mean, Glendon Rush has been honest. He said, look, I'm still throwing the ball the same way I did with Milwaukee, but sometimes they'll tell you that change of scenery is all it takes for a guy to rediscover the magic.
That and the confidence to throw the ball over the plate.
Grounded toward 3rd, and Wendell Kim makes the play.
And you know what happens, Chip, and I'm sure it happened with Glendon Rush last year. As things start to go badly for you, you don't have enough confidence, so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't trust your stuff, you get behind everybody, and when you do have to throw strikes, you have to use too much of the plate. That's when you really get hammered.
Another 1-2 count to Lee. This one off the plate at 2-2. 101 pitches for Davis tonight. Called 3rd. He ties his career high in strikeouts with 8. Derek Lee didn't like that call. The Cubs are doing a little too much barking and not enough hitting. They have just 3 safeties tonight and trail 4-0.
Toyota has some of the most fuel-efficient SUVs on the road.
Good mileage means money, money, money.
I go to the woods for some peace.
Go to the bank, go to yoga, go pick up the kids, go into the grocery.
You'll like Highlander with the lowest fuel costs in its class.
Nice.
And now with 3rd-row seating.
I've hauled 6 ballerinas in my car.
I've hauled 30 pumpkins.
And at 30 miles per gallon, RAV4 has the lowest fuel costs in its class.
The road to happiness.
Yeah.
There's something special in the air on the best damn sports show, period.
Please welcome Shaquille O'Neal.
On the best damn sports show, period. Tonight on Fox Sports Net.
So where's the best place to get a Jack Daniels in this town?
No problem.
me spar.
4. Call 866-4FPL DCO.
Get free installation through July only.
Call 866-4FELDCO.
Save hundreds, even thousands on Feldco replacement windows. Get free installation now.
Jump on these special savings. Call now.
Call 866-4FELDCO.
You're watching Chevy Baseball Wednesdays, presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Tomorrow, John Garland is expected to take the hill for the White Sox. They will finish up with Vladimir Guerrero and the Anaheim Angels at U.S. Cellular Field. White Sox and Angels baseball tomorrow at 12:30 only on Fox Sports Net. Milwaukee to the plate in the 6th inning, leading by 4. And Helms, an RBI single, starts things off.
Well, Carlos was talking about pitch counts and where he feels comfortable. He goes, look, I'm a big, strong, young guy, and I can throw 120, 130 pitches. He goes, it doesn't bother me too much. And if he's going to see his team come back, he's going to have to tonight. He's got the lower part of the order. And then Carlos is due up 4th in the Cub half of the 7th.
Anthony's for a strike call to Wes Helms. White Sox are trailing tonight 7-0. But one highlight for them tonight, Steve, they turned a triple play at home against Anaheim. A little bloop over first. Everything falling in for Milwaukee tonight. And Helms a 2-hit game. Let's let them get it out of their system tonight. Cubs will try to come back in their last 3 turns and the first 4 games after the All-Star break. Place them, in fact, 8 times in the last 2 weeks of July. Here's Moeller. Let's see how the Brewers play it here. He singled and hit into a double play. Hard hit ball, kick save off the foot of Zambrano. He can't find it. And Michael Barrett wisely tells Brendan Harris, get back to the third base bag. That'll be an infield hit.
That
2
was
on, nobody out.
Real hard hit baseball, and hopefully Carlos is going to be okay. Dusty probably going out there, and number 1, he wants to check on him. Looked like it might have caught him off the shoe. I think he's going to be all right. They want that bullpen with a chance to get loose. Carlos has given up 8 hits. And this one, a rocket back up the middle.
So 2 are on with nobody out. 98 pitches for Zambrano. Kent Merker up and throwing in the bullpen. He might have a left-handed compatriot down there in time for the Cardinals series. Mike Remlinger has been throwing and feels pretty good. He might be activated by the weekend.
Well, I think you're going to see the bunt here from Davis. And then you might see Merker come in the ball game, because that's when they start the 5 left-handers at the top that have produced most of the offense in this series for the Brewers.
Davis with 1 sacrifice is 0 for his last 42. And he bunts it hard. Harris looks to third, takes his time, and gets his man. He had to hesitate for a moment. Zambrano in his way. But Brendan made a fine effort to get the leading man at third base.
Well, he had all kinds of time because Helms didn't get down there very quickly. It wasn't a terrible bunt by Davis. But the Cubs on the rotation play had Ramon going to third base. It's the only thing he could really do with it. And you see Brendan take his time. He knows he's got plenty of time.
So Pasetnik hits with 2 on, 1 out. That was a real good pitch, too, from Zambrano to the pitcher trying to bunt. I mean, everybody in the park knows he's going to square around. Davis did a nice piece of hitting just to lay lumber on the baseball there.
And this becomes the biggest out for Carlos Zambrano.
1 ball, 1 strike.
But Sednick, despite having as good a speed as most on this team, is grounded into 4 double plays.
He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Fly ball, center field, pretty well struck. Patterson drifting back. He'll make the catch. Tagging is Moeller, and he will not advance. Corey hustles the ball in quickly. Good play for out number 2.
Well, that's the disadvantage when you fail to execute. That would have scored a run. Instead, runners remain at first and second, and Carlos has got a chance to get out of this 6th inning.
Counsell a 5-game hitting streak on the line tonight. Has walked twice, scored once, and has also bounced out to short. Why do Milwaukee fans enjoy Counsell so much? Well, he's from this part of the country, number 1, but brings that intangible of winning. He's got a couple of World Series rings on his finger. And for a young club trying to begin the process of winning consistently, guys like Greg Counsell are very, very valuable to have, I think. He's played as well as could be expected for this Brewer ball club this year.
Well, better than most people expected as the everyday shortstop. They didn't think that was going to happen.
2 balls, no strikes. It's 2-1 now. Reds and Cardinals tied 2-2 now. That's good news. Cincinnati hitting in the 6th inning now. Good play by Barrett. Boy, has he gotten comfortable behind the dish. 3-1. They're loaded with 2 outs. And Jeff Jenkins will stride to the plate.
And that's going to be it for Carlos Zambrano. He's walked Counsell 3 straight times. And it's going to be Merker against Jenkins.
So Carlos takes the game into the 6th inning with 2 outs. He'll be taken down. And the Cub bullpen will try to hold him at bay here. Milwaukee leading the Cubs by a 4-0 score. Packed house at Miller Park. Back for Jenkins and Merker when we return.
Hey fans, ever dreamed of being a sportscaster? Presenting the Sam Adams Sportscaster for a Day contest. Fox Sports Net and Sam Adams are teaming up to send one lucky winner to serve as a sportscaster during the Northsiders September trip to Florida. To find out how to enter and where you'll need to go to try out, log on to fsnchicago.com or head to samadams.com and click on Chicago Baseball Broadcaster Tryouts. You could be a sportscaster for a day. Brought to you by Fox Sports Net and Sam Adams. Always a good decision.
To leave civilization to find adventure. The 245 horsepower all-wheel drive Nissan Murano.
Comcast is working hard, so you won't miss a moment. We're working hard to bring you crystal clear pictures with digital cable. We're working hard to bring you high-speed cable internet. And at Comcast, our promise is to continue bringing new technologies home to you first, to keep you in touch, informed, and in sync. with everything you need to stay connected, now and in the future. All from one single source, Comcast.
Ken Mercker comes in with the bases full of Brewers. And 2 men out. That's what has to raise warning signs for you. The Brewers 4 runs. 3 of them have scored with 2 men out so far tonight.
Well, as a lone left-hander in the bullpen, and with a certainly left-hand laden lineup for these Brewers, Ken Mercker gets a shot. And I'm sure that he realizes that high fastballs will retire Jenkins. That's how Carlos got him in the 5th. Now Phil Cuzzy is yelling over to get something down off the dugout steps.
I think that might have been Wendell's defensive chart. At time called by Michael Barrett. Bases full for Jenkins. And Mercker misses with the ball downstairs. I think one thing the Cubs are hoping Glendon Rush can fill for them when he eventually gets to the Cub bullpen is a man that can get left-handed hitters out consistently. No offense to Kent Mercker or Mike Remlinger, but historically they've been better against right-handed hitters than men like Jenkins.
Well, this is where the lefty-lefty advantage evens out. Mercker has a good changeup, but he can't afford to throw that 3rd ball.
Two balls, no strikes. Broke his bat, bounced to lead. Mercker late off the mound, and he got there in time. Mercker wins the foot race. Jenkins shatters his bat, and the Brewers strand a trio, ending the 6th inning. 4-0 is your score from Miller Park.
John and Tom are regular guys. They do the usual things, the usual way, at the usual places. One day, John was down at the credit union when he decided to go unusual. Tom also did something he'd never done before.
The usual? No, I'll have one of those.
Good on you, Tom. Don't make it the usual. Make it Mike's Hard Cranberry Lemonade. Hardly the usual.
It's our serious summer sale at Bob Roberts Libertyville, Mitsubishi.
Get a brand new Galant for $18,399 plus 3 years of scheduled maintenance included. Plus, any new 04 Mitsubishi comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty.
There's only one Bob Roberts. It's our serious summer sale going on now at Bob Roberts Libertyville, Mitsubishi, just 5 minutes from I-94 on Milwaukee Avenue, Libertyville.
Big man wearing jeans and a flannel shirt. Big man swinging a miss. Big man diaper starting to sag. Gotta get his pants up. Big man taking off the gloves, looking for a fight. Big man, big man. Oh, big man taking the top off the quick creek crack seal. Oh, big man squeezing the cock.
New Quickcrete Concrete Crack Seal. Keeps annoying cracks from getting worse.
Frank Thomas and the Sox face off against one of the AL's elite when Vladimir Guerrero and the Angels come to the South Side. White Sox Angels tomorrow at 12:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Well, Steve, our game summary, all the offense unfortunately provided by Milwaukee, but defensively tonight, the Cubs have had a pretty good run at it.
It's been a terrific night defensively. Zambrano with a nifty double play. Seemingly every inning, the Cubs were able to get out of a jam until Jenkins hit the ball out of the ballpark. For the Cubs, they've flashed some pretty good leather, and it was a great play that got them out of the 6th inning. Unfortunately, there's been no offense. The Cubs have 9 outs and trail by 4.
So close the book on Carlos tonight. 4 runs, 8 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, a home run, and a wild pitch. Here in the 7th, Michael Barrett leads things off. Barrett tonight 1 for 2. Just 3 skinny Cub hits tonight.
Again, Merker did a great job of getting over to first base. That one could have caused some problems with a flying bat.
Little fly ball to right. Reeve will drift back. Easy play, 1 out. Let's take a look at our Buick opinion poll. As you know, here in Milwaukee, they have the ever-present sausage race. And we asked, who do you want to win tonight? We must tell you that the Bratwurst has won the last 2 nights.
But over the course of this season, the Polish has 3 victories up, and you see why.
Ramon Martinez is 0 for 2, and that's slapped out of play. But as you know, with the sausage race.
Oh, no. I will not be a party to this.
Whether you're picking the hot dog, the Polish, the Italian, or the brats, no matter who comes in first, everyone is a winner. Exactly. It's tradition. But I didn't get the "oh God" out of you this time. That's a little disappointing. 1 ball, 1 strike. I won't even tell you the joke about the 2 antennas. The 1 ball, 1 strike pitch.
Thanks.
1 and 2 with the bases empty. I know you're daring me, but I won't. Pirates hanging on to a 4-3 lead in the 9th inning down in Miami. Jose Mesa's had a good run of it so far for Pittsburgh in the closer's role. Another guy that's discovered new life once he left Philadelphia. A lot less pressure for that Pittsburgh team, but he's still gotten the job done by and large. Wonder if they'd consider moving him at July 31st trade deadline. Out of play by Martinez into the seats.
Well, I would assume that Dave Littlefield will consider moving just about anyone. I think he'll hold on to Jack Wilson for quite some time.
And Perez and Wells. Jason Bay too.
But there'll be a few guys that are available off that team.
Called 3rd strike. It's a new career high for Davis. He has struck out 9 Cubs tonight.
They pitched against the right opponent this evening. The Cubs in a stretch where they're taking the good ones and swinging at the bad ones.
Cubs have struck out 30 times in this series. 2 outs for Harris. He was out on a check swing strikeout last time up in the 5th.
Tom Goodwin in the on-deck circle. As Brendan Harris can keep it alive.
If Tom Goodwin hits, Beltran will come into the game, for he's up and throwing in the Cub bullpen. We've seen with this Cub team, the hitting be awfully contagious. We've also seen the slump be awfully contagious. Right now, from 1 to 8, not many real good swings from the Cub batsmen. That'll have to change by Friday. Fly ball by Harris right at Grieve, who hardly had to move a muscle. 3 up, 3 down as we stretch in Milwaukee. The Brewers in front 4-0.
Ron Santo. All Chicagoans admire him for his brilliant career at third base and as today's broadcast voice of the Cubs. No wonder he always draws a crowd.
Can I have your autograph?
What other reason could there be?
They like my Chevy.
Current GM owners and lessees get $5,000 loyalty cash on a 2004 Tahoe. That's right. Current GM owners and lessees get $5,000 loyalty cash on Tahoe.
Mr. Santo, can I Drive your Chevy? No.
See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Prague. Prague.
To Prague.
Ticket to Barcelona, Barcelona. Here to Barcelona, Barcelona.
Barcelona.
To Barcelona.
It will let out the seat for you. Take in the sides. Even adjust for the proper length. The Lexus ES with an advanced memory system. For those who appreciate a custom fit. At your Chicago area Lexus dealer.
Introducing a delicious twist on ordinary chicken salad. Arby's Market Fresh Chicken Salad. Try a sandwich, a wrap, or a bowl. One great chicken salad, 3 ways to enjoy it.
Well, Ned Yost, in his second year at the helm of this Brewer ball club, were I a voting man for the manager of the year, he would have my vote. With the payroll level here and the way this Brewer team is playing right now, they're making a strong bid, Steve, to sweep the Cubs in the first meeting this year. And Ned quoted talking about the rivalry between the Brewers and the Cubs. Still a ways to go before it reaches the fever pitch of the Cubs and Cardinals or the Yankees and the Red Sox. But it's not a one-way rivalry anymore.
For the Brewers, they've always been tough on the Cubs. Even last year when the Cubs beat them 7 out of 7 in this park, they battled the Cubs in Wrigley Field very well. And coming into this series, the Brewers had a 1-game lead historically over the Cubs. And of course, in this series, they've given this Cub team everything they wanted and more.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Pirates hung on, by the way, to defeat those spunky Marlins.
Mesa closed it out. Oliver Perez started. Pavano went to the post for the Florida team, a Marlin club that's now just a game over 500. Reeve lines that ball to left. Moises with a running catch. 2 quick outs. Here's Ginter. He has struck out twice and has grounded out to short, so he's 0 for 3. Doug Davis trying to win for the 5th time in 6 decisions. And he's trying to win his 9th of the year. Career high 9 strikeouts for the Brewers left-hander. And he'll have 9, 1, and 2 up for the Cubs in the 8th inning. Mike Adams starting to limber up in the Milwaukee bullpen.
You saw him for a 1/3 of an inning in last night's game.
He's got a real live arm too.
2 games in a row we've seen the setup to Vizcaino and the close to Dan Cole.
That's downstairs to Ginter, ball 3. With a 4-run lead, you wonder if they'll give Kolb a night off tonight. It would not be a safe situation for him. Let's hope the Cubs can at least attempt to make it such late. Three balls and a strike to Ginter. Bases are empty. Brewers with 4 runs, 8 hits. Cubs blanked 0-3-0. And that's the 5th walk issued by the Cubs staff tonight. First from Kent Merker. Good night for Helms tonight. 2 hits and an RBI. And Dusty Baker will go to the mound here. Beltran was up and warming. And Beltran's going to get the summons. Merker works an inning with a walk. And Beltran will face the Brewer third baseman here in our 7th inning. 4-0 Milwaukee the lead. Back for more from Miller in a moment.
16-inch softball is a Chicago institution, and Danley is a Chicago institution. Deep dish pizza is a Chicago institution. Chicago institution. Since 1959, it's Danley's Garage World for the finest garages. Now you can own a Danley and get a garage door opener free with 2 remote controls. Call 773 Garages. Call 773 Garages for a free garage door opener with any new Danley. Danley, truly a Chicago institution.
Danley's Garage World, Danley.
Depend on Danley. It's all about freedom to see clearly, to be at the top of your sport, the top of your profession, at the top of the world. It's freedom, brought to you by Kraft Laser Vision Correction. No one can match the Kraft Eye Institute and Laser Vision experience or results. Why trust your eyes to anyone else? The Kraft Eye Institute. It's freedom to see, to do, to be your best. Call Kraft today and see how far freedom can take you.
866 more FPL DCO.
Get free installation through July only.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Save hundreds, even thousands on Feldco replacement windows. Get free installation now.
Jump on these special savings. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Let's take a look at our Danley's Garage World upcoming schedule. 3 against the Cardinals coming up. Friday's game on WGN Sports. We won't join you here on Fox Sports Net Chicago until July 16th. That'll be game 2 of a 4-game set with the Brewers back at Wrigley Field in Chicago. 7th inning continues here with Francis Beltran on for the 30th time. Wes Helms will be his 2-out opponent with the Brewers in front by 4.
Helms has had a couple of hits tonight. Francis trying to get the Cubs out of this inning and on to the 8th with this 4-run deficit.
Helms missed about a month with a freak knee injury. When Milwaukee was down in San Juan, Helms was waiting out a rain delay with his teammates and walked out of the clubhouse, slipped on a rubber mat. Made slippery by the heavy rain showers in Puerto Rico. Tore the cartilage in his knee. Had to have surgery to correct that. That's why his home run total is just a 2 for the Brewer team this year. Back to first safely is Ginter. Reds and Cardinals still tied in St. Louis 2 apiece. Ryan Friel a couple of hits. Jim Edmonds has homered for St. Louis. That's foul at the plate. The Cubs 5 games back at the moment. Need some help from Cincinnati. Need to help themselves over the final 2 innings tonight. Runner goes, good jump. The pitch low, the throw on the money, but dropped. So Ginter in safely. He's 4 out of 4 in steals, and a hit could score the 5th Brewer run.
This is one of the better throws in this series for Michael Barrett. Good footwork. He gets it down there. It just leaks out of the glove of Mark Grudzielanek.
Two balls and a strike for Helms. That sweeps low. 3-1 now your count. Chad Moeller, the Brewer catcher, waits next. Every Brewer has reached base tonight. That includes the pitcher Davis. Another walk. second of the inning. First for Beltran. First and second, 2 outs. Moeller with 2 hits. Later on tonight, Houston will visit San Diego. Roy Oswalt will go for the Astros. Jake Peavy will go for the Padres, who've won 8 consecutive games in their new ballpark. They finally started to settle in at Petco. The Astros, Steve, having some problems. They haven't been able to gain any ground with Carlos Beltran. In fact, they've gone the other way. The Astros are 9 games out of first place, and they're hoping Jeff Kent can come back in the lineup. Remember, Kent pulled a hamstring against the Cubs and hasn't started since.
Well, with St. Louis as hot as they've been, and they're looking for their 6th win in a row, it's a real bad time for anybody in the division to go on a losing streak.
First pitch to Moeller after a brief visit. Barrett knocks it down. Good play by Michael again. Save 90 feet on the base paths. Looking back at last season, and every season, of course, very different, but the Cubs on the 26th of July were 5.5 games out of first place and a game under 500. You look at the record this year, Cubs at 46-37. At the moment, they would be the wild card representative for the National League. Pretty remarkable considering that Dusty hasn't had his team for 1 inning of 1 game yet this year. A pleasure he's looking forward to having, with Kerry Wood potentially back Sunday. Alex Gonzalez perhaps back the first week after the All-Star break. Mike Remlinger due to be back anytime. Then you play for a couple of weeks and take stock at where you are. But I think it's fair to say the Cubs frankly don't know what kind of team they have because they haven't seen it yet. They do know that this team can handle just about everything thrown at them from the adversity and injury standpoint.
What this is going to do, and this, I mean, the tough series up here in Milwaukee, is make the 3-game series with the Cardinals in St. Louis all that much more important.
You don't want to go down to Busch Stadium and lay an egg before the All-Star break. You need to build some momentum. 1-2 now. And Moeller is down on strikes. Brewers strand a couple more in the 7th. It's late. It's Milwaukee by 4.
When you care more about beer, Samuel Adams, always a good decision.
They have been faithful. They have been gentle. They have been waiting.
Oh, hell no.
Will Smith, I, Robot, rated PG-13, July 16th.
Will my car be ready this afternoon like you promised?
Yes.
Will you use a bunch of lingo I won't understand?
No.
Will you try to sell me something I really don't need?
No.
Do you like Broadway show tunes?
No.
It's peak driving season. Come to Midas for great value and service every day. Lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes are just $89.95 installed. And they're guaranteed for as long as you own your car. For mechanics known for their work and their word.
Trust the Midas touch.
You can elect to go left. You can elect to go right. Or you can be an independent. Summer Jam. Join the party now at your Cadillac dealer. Cadillac. Breakthrough. Visit your Chicagoland area Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer. See dealer for residency restrictions.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Cadillac, bold vehicles defying convention. Robert Morris, real college for the real world. And by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.
Tom Goodwin will lead off the Cubs' 8th. A lot of long faces from the North Side fans here in Milwaukee tonight. Brewers leading the Cubs. Davis spinning a 3-hit shutout. He's never thrown a complete game with a shutout. He's thrown 3 complete games, the last done August 26th last year at Cincinnati.
He hasn't fallen behind too much tonight. He's been very much in control.
Goodwin starts it off, and it's a shot to right at Grieve. A couple of steps to his right, 2 pitches. Retires Tom here in the 8th inning. And the Reds coming in for a big series with the Brewers beginning tomorrow. And the way Davis is pitching, he'll save that bullpen. 1 up, 1 down for Mark Grudzielanek. He's hitless in the series. He struck out flat out tonight and walked in the 3rd inning. Pittsburgh beat the Marlins 4-3. Braves clobber Montreal 9-2. Reds and Cardinals still tied in the 7th inning. High strike evens the count, 1-1. American League Finals, Tigers beat the Yankees. In fact, Detroit won that series in New York. They beat them today 10-8. Boston behind Pedro clobbers Oakland 11-3. Another chance in right for Grieve. In the corner at the wall, hauls it in. 2 out. Toronto beats Seattle 12-0. Tampa Bay over Baltimore 10-0 in the ninth. Texas beat Cleveland 9-8. Anaheim over the White Sox big 9-0. And Minnesota blanking Kansas City 11-0. A lot of big scores and shutout scores over the American League tonight.
The Cubs trying to do whatever they can to avoid being shut out here in Milwaukee and being swept for the first time in a 3-game series in a year and a half.
And shut out twice in the 3 games played here. Patterson 1 for 3. Knee buckling breaking ball. Wow. 0-1 your count.
Well, that first pitch curveball from Davis tonight has been real good.
Mike Wirtz up in the Cub pen. The pitch back where it came from, and Patterson aboard with a 2-hit night. 4 Cub hits. Corey has 2 of them, 1 of them via the bunt. Here's Sammy. 0 for 2 with a walk. He could make it interesting with a long ball here. 121 pitches for Davis, but Steve, as you, I think, would agree, not a high exertion per pitch pitcher.
I'm kind of surprised that Ed Yost is leaving him in, even with 2 outs here. Because, you know, it's pretty right-handed the rest of the way.
In the dirt, ball 1, 1 ball, no strikes. Adams was up earlier, gets back up now. Line drive toward left. But Jenkins is there, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. Davis threw 8 with a 4-hit shutout.
The kings of golf have moved on, but Western Open excitement continues. The big names drove the best. Buick, an American leader in quality. And now these low-mileage courtesy vehicles are available with exceptional Western Open factory-to-dealer discounts on top of all current cashback offers. Make your move now. This is a rare opportunity to drive away a winner. See your Buick dealer today.
Creating Chicago's best pizza begins with selecting the best ingredients. The best tomatoes, vegetables, meats, and cheeses all come together to create Giordano's famous stuffed pizza. which is why we wouldn't think of serving you anything but the best. From pizzas to the freshest salads, soups, spaghettis, lasagna, chicken parmesan, and much more. Giordano's, where being the best isn't just a slogan, it's a Chicago tradition for nearly 30 years. Giordano's famous stuffed pizza.
When it starts showing up in video games, don't let the needle-pushing T5 Turbo Performance mess with your mind. It's still built like a Volvo. Introducing the all-new Volvo S40.
From New York with Max Kellerman. Weeknights on Fox Sports Net.
Time for a Cadillac in-game update. I'm Gail Fisher inside the Fox Sports Net newsroom. Let's get you caught up on some scores from around the NL Central. Pittsburgh beats Florida 4-3. That's the final. Cincy and St. Louis are deadlocked at 2 apiece in the 7th inning, and Houston jumps on San Diego early, 3-0 in the first. We'll have some more results for you in the postgame show.
All right, Gail, thank you very much. Chip Carey, Steve Stone back at Miller Park. Unhappy totals on your screen, 4-0. And Doug Davis was masterful tonight. He'll be taken down for a pinch hitter as Mike Wirtz begins to loosen. He'll face Brady Clark, Scott Pasednik, and Craig Counsell.
Wirtz on for the 19th time. The ERA just over 7. And the Cubs have just 3 outs left to try to get something done against a team that has just been overwhelming from a pitching standpoint against them in this series.
So Brady Clark hits for Davis here. A career high 9 strikeouts for the Brewers left-hander. He's trying to beat all-star Carlos Zambrano tonight, and he's 4 runs up.
Glendon Rush throwing in the bullpen for the Cubs.
Dusty said he'd be available for that duty tonight, and that's the role he'll fill. With him tossing in the bullpen. Cubs have not officially announced Sunday's starter, but that would lead you to believe Kerry Wood's going to get the ball against the Cardinals. Nothing official yet. We know Maddox and Marquis will hook up Friday. Matt Clement and Jeff Sapon on Saturday afternoon. And Chris Carpenter lying in wait on Sunday night. Then it's the All-Star break. Then we come back home to face these Brewers in the middle of July. Missed the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Frankly, Bernie, the Brewers had way too many Ks hanging up on his chalet in this series. Out of play foul. 17 Cubs were punched out in game 1. Santos and the staff for Milwaukee had just 4 yesterday. Tonight, though, 9 more have gone down.
Bernie hasn't had to slide down that slide too often. This is not the most powerful Brewer team, but they haven't had to be.
Jenkins sent him sliding tonight. Ginter last night. And Craig Counsell in the opener.
What a night for Doug Davis to this point. Trying to win his 9th of the year.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Line foul off the bat of Brady Clark. A full count. Cubs fans, subscribe to Vineline, the Cubs official monthly magazine. It offers exclusive player profiles, team analysis, and unparalleled minor league coverage every month for $22.95. Check out the Sears Player of the Month recap every month from May to November. Call 800-248-9467 and order Vineline today. Ball 4 inside to Clark. 7 walks from the Cubs staff tonight. And a leadoff pass issued by Mike Wirtz. Here's Posednik. He's doubled and scored in 4 trips tonight. Another rescue by this Milwaukee franchise. Texas, Seattle among his stops before finally finding a home here with the Brewers.
They allowed Sanchez to go to Detroit, and they're very happy with Posednik at the top of their order.
Already 33 steals for Posednik. 1-1 count. Fly ball left center. Corey coming on. Good running catch. 1 out.
That one hung up there long enough. A good play by Corey Patterson. Looked like it was going to be a base hit off the bat. But he got a good break and ran it down in the alley.
Council's walked 3 straight times tonight. And again, his modest hit streak of 5 games on the line with this at bat. Down on the farm yesterday, Alex Gonzalez went 1 for 3 and scored a run. Alex had 3 hits the other day, so he's trying to play himself back into game shape on rehab with the Iowa Cubs. Kerry Wood, as we told you, started. Sergio Mitre has been pitching well down there. He went 4 innings and picked up the save for Kerry. West Tennessee in Double-A split a doubleheader yesterday. Richard Lewis 3 for 4 in the nightcap with an RBI and scored a couple of runs. Richard Lewis, pretty impressive young minor league player who can play several infield positions. The Daytona Cubs beat Clearwater 9-5 yesterday. Andy Sisco a winner. Felix Pie hit a home run. You'll see Felix during the All-Star festivities in the World Futures game. He'll be performing there. Steve's beloved Lugnuts beat the Whitecaps 3-2 yesterday of West Michigan. Brian Doperak, a 25-game hit streak for the Lugnuts. In there for a strike. The Boise Hawks 9-10 in Northwest League play, and the Mesa Cubs at 3-8. Andy Pratt working on his command down in Mesa. Went 2 innings, didn't walk anyone, and struck out 3. Cubs still feel he has a chance to contribute at the major league level. Pitched briefly up here before control sent him to the minors. 3 balls and a strike to Craig Counsell.
Cubs haven't wanted to throw much to Counsell tonight. He's had a very good series defensively, and his home run in the first inning of the first game stood up for the Brewers.
3 balls, 2 strikes. White Sox had a rough night tonight. Their offense struggling as badly as the Cubs this evening. They tallied 4 hits, and Anaheim clubbed them 12-0. So the White Sox fall for the 5th consecutive time. Scott Schoenweiss, the starter for the Southsiders today. Runner goes, pitch popped toward third. Harris will make the play in foul ground. 2 outs. Back to first is Clark, and Jeff Jenkins, the hitter. Houston gets 3 early against San Diego. They lead at Petco Park 3-0 behind Roy Oswalt. Arizona getting clobbered by the Dodgers. LA scored 6 against Steve Sparks in the first inning. Kaz Ishii pitching for Los Angeles tonight.
And here's one of the villains as far as the Cubs are concerned. Jenkins with a 2-run homer in the third inning. And in this series, it's been all Brewers.
Tough to win when you can't score, and that's been the fate here in Milwaukee.
You know, last night was Buckethead night in this ballpark. They have it once a week.
0-1.
And unfortunately, there is not a bucket available for Ronnie Wu, who's behind home plate.
Well, I was going to say the Brewers might be on their way to sweeping the Cubs, but Ronnie's going to irritate every single one of the Brewer fans in retaliation. Check out the guy sitting to Ronnie's right. Hey, give it a rest, pal.
We better be careful because somebody might have a cheese log hidden on their person.
Look at that guy's face.
The man never wished he was deaf until tonight. We're wondering what in the world is this?
Now Ronnie's on his feet. He's really fired up.
He's always been a tremendous Mike Wirtz fan.
Up the middle, and that silences Ronnie for the moment.
Not a chance.
A moment. That was it. Two-hit game for Jenkins.
Those folks are stunned.
Get those guys an Advil contract.
Can't beat fun at the old ballpark. So when a sage once told me, you'd have a hard time convincing those three fellows that Ronnie's right of that.
He must have been deaf. Look at that lady's face. He's overpaid.
They're just happy to be here. Wow. All you can hope is nobody has a map to St. Louis.
I'll never forget when we went to Tokyo and played over there. Ronnie Wu made the trip.
That guy's looking for an usher.
Huh. 1-1 pitch. I always wanted to ask the Japanese customs official who saw Ronnie walk up in his Cubs uniform when the Cubs were overseas in Tokyo what he thought of that guy.
He is unique. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it. 2 balls and a strike. There's a guy about 4 rows behind Ronnie waving a bat. 3-1. Little pop center field. Patterson is there. And woo-woo indeed. We go to the 9th inning. It's 4-0 Milwaukee.
Searching other websites for low fares? Better get comfortable. Just go to southwest.com for Southwest Airlines' $34 internet specials to select cities in the Midwest when you purchase by August 5th.
You are now free to move about the country.
8 out of 9 Toyota cars get over 30 miles per gallon. So what does that mean to you?
Road trip, road trip.
From Indiana to California.
I'm going to Mount Rushmore.
Just feeling a lot better. Bob came down with a flu bug before our ball game tonight, so Dave Turner pulling double duty as our producer and director tonight. Thanks, Dave, for a job very well done. Our associate producer, Joe Corneo. Our production manager, Moheen Ramsey. Josh Wine, our executive producer. Our stage manager, Christine, the plaintiff, Charbonneau. And our vice president of programming is Don Graham. Chip Carey, Steve Stone from Miller Park. Final chance for the Cubs. Brewers leading by a 4-0 score after 8.
Adams comes into the game. We saw him for just a third of an inning last night. He's on for the 17th time. Record pretty impressive, as is the ERA.
So Moises Alou will go to work first. Just 4 lonely hits for the Cub bats tonight. And a ball inside from Adams. And Ronnie's back at it again. Your count.
Well, the bullpen up and going for the Brewers just in case Adams has some problems as the Cubs try to make a game of it here in the ninth. And there's Dan Cole.
That paints the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Cardinals have a 3-2 lead as they go to the 8th now in St. Louis.
Brady Clark stays in the game in right field.
Popped up. That might stay in play over by the Brewer dugout. Overbay and Moeller. It'll be Overbay. 1 out. The Brewers wanted a rivalry. The best way for them to do that is to do exactly what they've done in the first 3 meetings this year, and that's play winning baseball. They're 2 outs away from sweeping the Cubs, something the Cubs have not had happen to them since September of 2002 in a 3 or 4 game set. And Derek Lee 1 for 3 tonight.
What a great night for the guy you're looking at, Doug Davis. Going to run his record to 9-6.
The Cubs with 4 singles tonight. In fact, in this 3-game series, 16 hits and 2 runs for the Cub bats. 1 ball, 1 strike to Derek Lee off his thumbs, and everybody down 0-2, 1-2 so far tonight. Tomorrow night we'll be off. Friday night in St. Louis for Greg Maddux and Jason Marquis. As Steve alluded earlier, with what's transpired here in Milwaukee, that becomes a huge pre-All-Star break series. Fisted into shallow right center field. Ginter and Clark will meet. It'll be Clark, 2 out. A Cub loss and a Cardinal win puts the Cubs 6 games out, 1 ahead of the Brewers.
Cubs haven't had to contend with seeing these brooms in quite some time in a 3 or 4 game series, but they're out in force tonight here in Milwaukee.
A strike to Barrett. And there's no sugarcoating it. They outpitched us, they outhit us, they outdefended us. They outran us on the base paths. We're down to our last strike. Barrett argues about that. 0-2. Unlike last night when the Cubs had numerous opportunities to make some noise, Davis and Adams have given the Cubs nothing.
Only in one inning did the Cubs have as many as 2 base runners, and unfortunately it came with 2 outs in the inning after a Lee single, a Barrett single. Ramon grounded into a force play in the 4th, and that's the only glimmer of hope the Cub offense has had this evening.
0-2 for Michael Barrett. And he went around a fitting end to this series. Milwaukee sweeps the Cubs. 31 Cubs down on strikes. The Brewers sweep us. They're a game behind us. And it's a 4-0 shutout. The second shutout suffered by the Cub offense, Steve, in this 3-game series.
Well, tonight it was the turn of Doug Davis, who was just terrific. The Cubs could muster very little offense against this highly emotional Brewer team, who came in after a 4-game sweep at the hands of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They came in, they take the Cubs 3. An off day to reflect, and then you can't really look back. It's on to St. Louis to play a series that the Cubs now find as crucial a series as you can get in the beginning of July.
At the moment, we're 5.5 games back. We only have 5 games left with St. Louis. The 3-game set starting Friday, indeed, Steve, will be big. Greg Maddux and Jason Marquis will start the proceedings 7 o'clock on WGN Sports. No offense. The story at Miller Park. The Brewers sweep the Cubs 4-0. Your final score. For Steve Stone, Chip Carey from the ballpark. Let's send it out to Gail Fisher and Dave Otto, who are standing by down in our Chicago studios.
Thanks, Chip. Coming up on the postgame show, it's been a tough one at Miller Park all week. What are Dusty Baker's impressions of these Brewers? The Cubs skipper joins us live. Will there be 4 Cub All-Stars this year, or did Aramis get snubbed? We've got the results of a very close vote. And how close can the Cubs stay to the Cardinals in the NL Central? An update on that Cards-Reds game. It's all next on the postgame show.
Fox Sports Net's coverage of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Over 2,800 nonstop daily flights to 60 destinations all across the country. Your Chicagoland Pontiac dealers. Heineken, it's all about the beer. Heineken. Comcast, proud to be Chicagoland's cable company. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Nobody makes whiskey like Jack Daniel's. And by Hyundai. When your car comes with America's best warranty, you win. Hyundai.
Hyundai's on a winning streak, and during Hyundai's winning streak summer clearance, save big on the popular Hyundai Elantra. The Elantra costs $1,600 less than a Honda Civic LX when comparably equipped. And right now you get $1,500 cash back or 0% APR on every Elantra. Plus, Hyundai's award-winning quality is backed by America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. So don't buy another car before you check out Hyundai's winning streak summer clearance. Get a 2004 Hyundai Elantra with $1,500 cash back or 0% APR.
Give your engine what it wants. Pennzoil with time-release molecules delivers non-stop protection throughout the life of your oil. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Stop by Murray's Auto Parts for great savings on Pennzoil motor oil.
You were drinking gungy water, trying to blow my head. Rubber dealing woman. Stop and lay my money down. Well, if you don't stop it, babe, find yourself sleeping in the ground.
Thompson, after hearing the evidence and listening to your testimony, this committee finds you guilty of obstruction of justice, embezzlement of company funds, and questionable accounting practices. Well, there appears to be some good news.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Thanks very much.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
You're watching Chevy Baseball Wednesdays, presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers. is the ATA Chicago Cubs postgame show, live from Fox Sports Net.
It's been a tough series in Milwaukee. Welcome into the ATA Chicago Cubs postgame show. Gail Fisher and Dave Otto here. 4-0 the final. The Brewers win it, and they get the sweep. The first time the Cubs have been swept in a 3-game series under Dusty Baker. And Dave, offense just hard to come by in this series.
Yeah, you know, it's a long season and you go through streaks like this. I mean, the Cubs come sky high coming off a 3-game sweep against the White Sox and run into a buzzsaw against the Brewers, who were struggling coming into the series against the Cubs after they being swept against the Pittsburgh Pirates. This all started with Mr. Sheets, the first game of the series. 14 strikeouts, 17 strikeouts total in that ball game, and then a little too much Doug Davis tonight, who was able to get that cut fastball in on right-handed hitters and had a pretty big zone, was able to work the ball away also to both sides of the plate.
You know, Milwaukee beat up on St. Louis in the beginning of the season, and now they did a number on the Cubs. This could be the sleeper team in the Central. Let's head up to Miller Park now and bring in the Cubs broadcast team of Chip Carey and Steve Stone. And guys, what can you say? We knew this Milwaukee team was going to be tough.
Well, they have been playing very good baseball here at home. And, Steve, frankly, the Brewers' offense didn't exactly poleaxe the Cubs. They scored a grand total of 9 runs in the series. The Cubs got just 2 runs. They struck out 31 times and managed just 16 hits. They wasted some pretty good pitching, and as we've said a couple of times in this series, these aren't the Brewers of old. They're doing all the little things right now.
Well, it was just too much Brewers in every category. They out-defended them, certainly outran them, and out-hit them. And again, it wasn't an offensive onslaught. They got terrific pitching in this series. The Cubs got good pitching, just not quite good enough.
Now this series coming up with the St. Louis Cardinals. Nothing you can do about what happened here in Milwaukee except get revenge perhaps after the All-Star break. But right now the Cubs are at a crossroads. They're 5.5 games behind the Cardinals. They still are hopeful that Aramis Ramirez will play Friday night. But you can't afford to lose much more ground with St. Louis, for again, we're done with them July 20th and don't see them the rest of the regular season.
Well, certainly the Cubs have to put together a real good series in St. Louis, and that's a tough task because the Cardinals playing very good baseball. They caught the Reds at the right time, and this being a game of streaks, right now the Cubs in a bad streak after a very good series against the White Sox. Dave, you mentioned it. They came up here with some high hopes. This Brewer team came off a real tough series for them in Pittsburgh. In fact, they're 1-7 against the Pirates in Pittsburgh this year, but you'd never know it by this series here.
Sometimes day offs come at a most inopportune time. When you're streaking, you don't want to stop playing. When you aren't streaking, maybe a day off to refresh the batteries, reflect, and work on a few things might come in handy for the Cubs. We've got a game on Friday night against St. Louis, and we can't wait to see you guys then.
All right, Chip, thank you very much. Enjoy your day off tomorrow.
Thanks, Gail.
And have a safe trip to St. Louis. Steve, let's review those keys to the game. I'm not sure what to say between you and Dave. It just really didn't work out tonight for these keys.
No, it certainly didn't, and there really wasn't any key that you could possibly have said that was favorable to the Cubs or against the Brewers that would have come through this evening, because it was just all Brewers. They dominated the Cubs in the entire series, and tonight was no exception.
Now, this is another start for Zambrano. You know, he gives up the 4 runs. The one being unearned, his first run given up, Stoney, and still his command. You know, there were a couple situations in tonight's ball game where he missed with, you know, where normally he executes a pitch and gets out of an inning. He wasn't able to do that tonight. 4 walks tonight. This is his 6th start in a row in which he's walked 4 or more. But overall, a ball game that, you know, if you score some runs, Zambrano's got a chance to win. You can't win if you don't score.
No, and that was the case the entire series. They just didn't hit the baseball. Maybe they'll find the Cardinal pitching staff a little better to their liking. This team didn't even have to go to their closer, and they've got 2 pitchers going to the All-Star game, something that's never happened for the Brewers. So this is a pretty good Brewer team, and right now they're tied with the Cubs in the loss column. And when you look at the first or the end of the first week of July, nobody ever thought that would happen.
Well, the Cubs are going to see the Brewers many more times in the next couple of weeks, so hopefully it'll turn out better. Steve, thank you very much. Have a good day off tomorrow as well.
See you guys later.
All right. Well, Dave, let's take a look back at these highlights. Not going to see a lot of Cubs offensive highlights, but we've got a few here to show you from this ball game. Good pitching, the name of this series. Carlos Zambrano on the hill. Probably not such a good pitching day for him. Jeff Jenkins here in the bottom of the first pops it up to shallow left. Ramon Martinez, a spectacular catch.
later on in the show, we're going to take a look at some of the Cubs defense. I mean, if you're not swinging the bats, you better be able to throw some leather, and the Cubs did that tonight.
Nice backhander there. All right, bottom second, Cubs trail 1-0. Chad Miller gets sawed off. The roller to Zambrano. Barehanded it for the 1-6-3 double play. Meanwhile, Doug Davis pitching well for Milwaukee. Here he gets Corey Patterson swinging in the high heat.
You know, Davis doesn't throw particularly hard. That pitch upstairs looks so good. Zambrano gives up a 2-run home run to Jenkins here in the third inning. Fell behind, threw him a slider down. Jenkins, a good low ball hitter.
3-0 Brewers. Top of the fourth. Davis still owns the Cubs. Sosa goes down looking.
There were a couple spots in the ball game. And again, you're not going to make excuses, but the zone was expanded. Davis was throwing strikes. He's going to get the benefit of a couple of calls.
Bottom fourth now. Sosa flashing some leather, so some good defense by the Cubs. Wes Helms gets robbed. Sosa with that diving catch. Bottom five now, first and second, 1 out, still 3-0. Lau Overbay grounds it to first. Derek Lee throws to second for 1 out. Over to first, but Zambrano not on the bag.
It's a tough play for Zambrano. You know, the ball's coming, you're trying to search for the bag, and it turns out to favor the Brewers as they score their fourth and final run here in the fifth.
That was the Falco window of opportunity, so 4-0 Brewers. Top of the sixth. Davis continues to dominate the Cub hitters. Corey Patterson goes down swinging. Derek Lee's up next. Goes down looking. Lee not happy with that call either.
Well, Davis on the night, 8 innings pitched, only 4 hits, 2 walks, and a career high 9 punch-outs.
Top 8, Corey Patterson on first, Sammy Sosa. Still can't get anything going. Lines 1 to left. Not enough. Cubs hitters, Dave, not happy with the calls, but I have to say they were pretty consistent, although going against the Cubs, but he was pretty much calling them in the zone.
Yeah, well, you know, in this ball game, again, if you're around the zone, you're going to get some pitches. The Cubs in the series, Gail, 16 hits total. There have been 2 games this year in which the Cubs have had 17 hits in a game. They run into a surprising Milwaukee Brewers rotation that has held up halfway through the season.
Well, they got shut out twice in this series in Game 1 and then in Game 3 tonight, and really they've been shut out now 9 times on the season. Dave, that is not a good statistic.
No, you know, it's typical of a ball club that's built for the home run, because it's a team, the Cubs right now, that they don't run. They're not able to generate runs. You're going to run into pitchers where you do get shut out, and you just hope that the offense comes around, which I'm sure obviously it will. I mean, this is a team that's 5th in the league in runs scored. They'll come around and hopefully score some runs against St. Louis Cardinals. But right now, you're just running into some hot pitchers with the Brewers. And don't get me wrong, the Cubs did not swing the bat well at all series long.
Well, like you said, sometimes these streaks happen, either a good streak or a bad streak. And really, it has to be frustrating. You had Matt Clement pitch a good game, can't get the win on a 1-0 shutout. And the Cubs are playing good defense, so they've had good pitching, they've had good defense, and we saw a couple of plays in the highlights from this ball game. The defense was there.
You have to throw the leather. And, you know, with this rotation and this pitching staff, this is a ball club that you're going to have to do that because of the arms that you have on the staff. So, you know, overall, and that's something where defense shows up every game. I mean, sometimes you're going to run into a tough pitcher. Martinez in the first inning makes a nice running catch of Jeff Jenkins. You know, Zambrano up the middle earlier with the ground ball double play. Martinez has done a good job over at shortstop. Nice charging play here. You know, outfield play. I think Sosa's having a pretty good year out in right field. You know, he plays a deep right field, but at the same time, a nice running catch here in the 4th inning. So when you have good defense and good pitching, you are going to win the 2-1 ball games. There was a pass ball earlier in the ball game. Here, you know, you get on a bunt play, boy, if you can get the lead runner, that's big for a pitcher. So overall, when you talk about a staff, I mean, this is a confident staff with their defense. The problem right now, and it's obvious, it's offense.
Can't get it done. Brewers win it 4-0 to complete the sweep over the Cubs. Still to come on the post-game show. He won't be headed to the Midsummer Classic, but he could be returning to the lineup this weekend. An update on Aramis Ramirez. And can someone beat the Reds, please, or the Cardinals? Can the Reds do it? We'll let you know if they come through.
Closed captioning on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
The average driver spends a mere 1% of the time in reverse. Yet considering what's at stake, that's 1% we didn't want to ignore. The backup camera, available in the Lexus RX 330. At your Chicago area Lexus dealer.
Introducing ATA's Super Sales. Multiple sales that leave you no option other than to pick a destination and a great fare to get you there. More low-fare destinations and special savings on Florida fares and East-West travel. Go easy with ATA Super Sales.
I'm gonna go easy, go ATA. I'm gonna go easy, go ATA.
Mike, can I talk to you for a second? Did you know you went over your soccer minutes this month? You signed up for 1,000 soccer minutes. It was a good guess, but now you owe us $194.
Introducing an entirely new way to buy wireless. The Sprint PCS Fair and Flexible plan adjusts every month, so you don't waste a lot of money or minutes.
No guesswork, no overages.
Cool. Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
8, 6, 6, 4.
Call 866 for FPL DCO.
Get free installation through July only.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Save hundreds, even thousands on Feldco replacement windows. Get free installation now.
Jump on these special savings. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
It was her older sister's bike, but I made sure for her it ran like new. Now it's her first car, and although it's not brand new, I know the same attention went into making it feel like it was.
All quality check certified pre-owned Fords come with a 115-point inspection completed by Ford-trained technicians. Ford quality certified, the only way to buy a pre-owned vehicle, and only at your local Ford store.
So just like that, she's gone from 2 wheels to 4.
Time now for the results of our Buick poll question on the night. Who do you want to see win the sausage race? Well, 29% of you said the bratwurst. My favorite, the bratwurst. That was not the winner, though, tonight, Dave. Did you happen to see the winner?
No, I didn't see the winner.
I think it was the Italian. Here's the race. The bratwurst won the last couple of nights, and I thought maybe if there was a new winner on this race here that the Cubs would win, but that's not the case. It's looking pretty good, though. I can't tell who's who. What is that? Who's leading, Dave?
That might be the worst call of a race I've ever heard, Gail, right there.
Who is that? Is that the Italian? Oh, the Polish. That's the Polish, Dave. Wow. I'm not going to make it as a sausage race play-by-play person.
No.
That's for sure. All right, Doug Davis on the mound for the Brewers tonight really shut down the Cubs. And, Dave, they struck out a lot in this game and in this series.
Yeah, and one of the things that Davis did well tonight is through that cut fastball. You know, left-handed pitcher against primarily a right-handed hitting lineup, and he buried guys in with the cutter. And, you know, it was one of those things where his zone was big, but it was 87, 88 miles an hour. That's not gas by today's standards. It looked so good upstairs that Cubs hitters were swinging at it. And you have to lay off that high pitch and make him get the ball down. They were never able to make him get the ball down because of the amount of times that they swung at that high pitch. And every once in a while, you know, he had some gas left in his tank where he could rush it at 89, 90 miles an hour. But overall, he's pitching at 87, 88, primarily because of the cut fastball.
Does it jam them, Dave, the hitters?
Yeah, it's almost like a slider. But the big difference between a slider and a cut fastball is a slider is going to have some downward tilt to it, whereas a cut fastball comes on the hitter. So if you have the bat head, what you're trying to do as a left-handed pitcher against a right-handed hitter is, you know, you throw the fastball, and the hitter's trying to get it, obviously, on the head right here on the thick part of the bat. What a cutter does, it'll break about 5 or 6 inches and try and get the hitter to swing at it off the label of the bat. And you'll see a lot of full swings where you think a hitter is getting it, but it's on the handle. And it looks just like a fastball, but the Cubs were never able to get the head out. And the thing is, with that cut fastball, if you throw that in there, the only thing you really can do with it is pull it foul. He was able to throw that and then change speeds on the outer half. Anytime a left-handed pitcher can control both sides of the plate, you're in for a long evening, and that was the case for the Cubs tonight.
Yeah, he was very effective with that tonight. All right, time now for our ATA sweepstakes giveaway, as we take an ATA fly around the bases. First, we'll announce the winner. Julie Enberg of Oswego, Illinois, is the winner of this week's sweepstakes, and you can log on to fsnchicago.com and get the information and enter to win. Every Wednesday here on the ATA Fly Around the Bases segment of this postgame show, we will announce a winner who wins a voucher on ATA, so you can get a nice getaway. All right, Cubs getting away to St. Louis to face the Cardinals this weekend. Tonight, they're hosting the Reds. Bottom six tied up at 2-2. So Taguchi up, loops the liner to right. And Ryan Friel had a long way to run, kind of slams into the wall.
Watch his left knee.
Ow!
No padding at the bottom of the wall. He goes out of the game. Jesus Sanchez threw the ball well for the Reds in this ball game.
That looked like a Bill Miller, by the way, knee into the wall. All right, Renteria is going to score on this. The Reggie Sanders hit, 3-2 Redbirds, and they go on to win it 4-2. So that is very bad news for the Cubs, who now slip to 6 games back in the NL Central. St. Louis with 52 wins on the year. Right now, Dave, nobody can stop this team. The Cubs are going to try this weekend.
The Cubs win 88 games last year and win their division. 88 games this year, 88 wins is not going to get it done in the NL Central.
Milwaukee, in the meantime, hangs there at 7 games back. You know, they sweep the Cubs, but they can't gain any ground because the Cardinals just keep on winning. All right, in the American League, checking out the White Sox hosting the Angels at the Cell. Jose Guillen had reasons to smile tonight. A good night for him. Top of the second. He's going to start off by taking Scott Schoenweiss deep to right. This one a 2-run blast, and it is 2-0 Halos. This game gets out of control, Dave. Next inning, Guillen's got 2 men on and he's going to drive them in. 3-run laser beam to left. Pair of homers for Guillen plus a double. 5 RBIs for him. Top 6 now. The only Sox highlight, Benji Molina. Ground ball to Joe Creedy turns it into the triple play. But the Sox get shellacked and they go on to lose that one. Still to come on the show, the Cubs head to St. Louis. We'll preview the big weekend at Busch. Plus, the Cubs are missing him. When will Aramis Ramirez return to this Cubs lineup? Mitch Robinson talks to the Cubs third baseman when we return.
Introducing a delicious twist on ordinary chicken salad. Arby's Market Fresh Chicken Salad. Try a sandwich, a wrap, or a bowl. One great chicken salad, 3 ways to enjoy it.
Is something telling Catwoman it's time to get a Jaguar? See your local Jaguar retailer during the Unleash a Jaguar sales event. Get an XJ8 for $6.99 a month at your local Jaguar retailer. See the Jaguar XJR in Catwoman and see her in theaters July 2004.
It's all about freedom to see clearly, to be at the top of your sport, the top of your profession, at the top of the world. It's freedom, brought to you by Kraft Laser Vision Correction. No one can match the Kraft Eye Institute and Laser Vision experience or results. Why trust your eyes to anyone else? The Kraft Eye Institute. It's freedom to see, to do, to be your best. Call Kraft today and see how far freedom can take you.
Introducing ATA Super Sales. Multiple sales that leave you no option other than to pick a destination and a great fare to get you there. More low-fare destinations and special savings on Florida fares and East-West travel. Go easy with ATA Super Sales.